Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me okay and everything looks good, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys are having difficulty seeing me or things are looking bad, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. And I'm going to shout out everybody who is up in here early. All right. Shout out to Karen Dorsey. Shout out to Carlton Way. Shout out to Volvo 2 Love. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Tedra Mitchell. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all throw some liking forces in the chat for Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Wallow J. Shout out to my man Edward Berry. What's good, bro? Good to see you. Shout out to Rick Guillory. Shout out to J.R. Lawson. Shout out to my man, The Specialist. I think that's my man, Ron. What's good with it, bro? And I think that is it, man. Shout out to everybody, man. It's good to see you guys, all right? So we're going to talk about some interesting things, all right? There's a lot of things that are shaping up with this particular situation with Kamala Harris, and it don't make a lot of sense. And we're going to try to, if not make sense out of it, at least try to figure out where a lot of this information or quote unquote hype is coming from. All right. Shout out to Kelly and shout out to AB. What's good with y'all? All right. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Have you all noticed that there's just been this media tour of all of a sudden there's just this massive amount of Kamala Harris support? She has the Democrats have some type of newfound energy. And as a result of Kamala Harris just simply being there, somehow they're going to overwhelm the odds that Biden was already have a difficult time competing with. Have you guys noticed that the media is on a strict campaign and they're saying the same thing all across the board? The New York Post, the Washington Times, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, all of these places are saying the same thing. And what's interesting about it is if you've been watching, you're like, where's this stuff coming from? Where's this stuff coming from? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some things that Charlamagne said. We're going to look at this situation with the Zoom call with 44,000 Black women on it who were able to manage to raise $1.5 million. All right. We're going to look at all of these situations. All right. And then we're going to wait for more information to come out. So here's my question. How did Kamala Harris get the delegates so quick? You know, she got get enough delegates. Now it's official. It's official. She's got enough delegates to face Trump. How did they get them so fast? Where did they come from? Out of the clear blue sky. I mean, what? This is just a matter of days? How did this happen so quickly? We may as well end the stream. Shout out to DC Precise. Make sure y'all show DC Precise some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat. There it is. We can end it. We ain't even got to, you know, we good. 9 minutes in, we set. That's it. We ain't got to say nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DC. Make sure y'all show him some love for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
DC Precise says, can 1.5 mil overnight buy a win? Hell to the no. Facts. Facts. And what's crazy about it is it's the quote unquote Black Woman Coalition, and they're doing it to fund a quote unquote Asian woman, which if you listen to the YouTube talking points, that's a quote unquote preference, not an actual Black woman, right? If you listen to YouTube, right? So it's just really interesting. Now, here goes my thing, right? You know, this is Kamala Harris is the modern president. She's a modern woman getting all this money from other modern women. And in a world where modern women run things and you have no enforcement mechanisms over what they do, it doesn't make sense to try to make sense of nonsensical decisions, because that's just what the expected thing to do should be. My question would be, let me ask you guys this. If women did this, do you all think that men could organize and do something like this? If you guys think that men could organize and do something like this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. Now, you know, I saw a lot of people having copious amounts of SBE. Why are they doing this? Why are they spending their money like this? Why are they doing it? I mean, why ask any kind of questions? I mean, why? I mean, when is the last time somebody asked, well, why does she screw my friend? You know what I mean? Like, why even bother ask those kind of questions? The question should be, okay, I see what's going on. They created this value chain. They did this, that, and the other to try to do this. Let's try to get some paper like that. Because why try to make sense of something that you know is going to be nonsensical? Let me ask you guys this. When it comes to that money, has there been anything guaranteed that Kamala Harris said that she would do for any of those individuals that pledged that money? We don't know exactly what went on if the phone call wasn't recorded and published, right? So we don't know what the terms and conditions of it might have been. But all we do know is that there was 44,000 women on that call, and 44,000 women were able to produce $1.5 million. Now, I've seen women spend lots of money on things that I would never buy, ever. You know what I'm saying? Never, ever. And this is just another one of those cases. So when you scroll down your timeline and you see all of these dudes, oh, why are they spending this money on Kamala Harris? I mean, why are you doing this? Like, you're supposed to be smarter than that. You're supposed to think, you're supposed to think more logically than that. Are you supposed to be smarter than that? Or are you supposed to be more logical than that? Or do we believe what we actually say? Because if we believe what we actually say, then no, they shouldn't be smarter or logical than that. So again, we got the situation where, you know what I'm saying, we got the two reality thing popping off. So we got to figure out which reality we want to be in and stick with it, or figure out which reality is the real one and actually apply real reality. Shout out to my man Rick C. But aside from that, we'll get there and talk about that once we get there. My question for everybody is, how did they get these delegates this fast? How did they get organized this quickly? Somebody let me know.
President Kamala Harris hit the ground running on her first day of campaigning for president after receiving Joe Biden's endorsement. Late this afternoon, she addressed staffers, and for the first time, we are hearing from President Biden.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment.
From an event at the White House celebrating NCAA sports to remarks at her 2024 campaign headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware with the second gentleman.
Hey, Delaware!
Vice President Kamala Harris speaks for the first time since President Biden dropped out of the race Sunday, giving Harris his endorsement.
And it is my intention to go out and earn this nomination. And
now, let me ask you guys this question. Now, what I find interesting about the Kamala Harris situation, right? Have you guys noticed this? Now, Kamala Harris has a white husband, right? It is what it is. I'm not one of those people, right? So she's got a white husband. When it comes to the people who support her, have you guys noticed that nobody's sexually policing her? She's allowed to be free and live happy with her white husband. But if you saw TD Media Group's live stream that he did yesterday, even if you're a black man and you decide to vote Trump, regardless of what you're doing sexually, somehow voting Trump makes you white adjacent. Her family is white adjacent. You know what I'm saying? So again, are we really expecting the people who come to conclusions using non-logical fallacy to actually make sense? Are we actually doing that? Joy Reid literally said that black men who support Trump or who don't support Kamala Harris are white adjacents, when literally in many cases, geometrically and biologically, Kamala Harris and her family are indeed white adjacent. She has a white husband and 2 white stepchildren. Now, again, I'm not the family police. I'm not the private parts police. You want to see one of those streams? Go look at Dr. Umar Johnson. You know what I'm saying? I don't police what people do. What I do critique, however, is the logic that people use. And I don't understand how you could criticize somebody for being quote unquote white adjacent while this is probably one of the most white adjacent. I mean, Barack Obama was a mixed man and he's been criticized on those bases, right? But he was married to a black woman and had a black family. So, I mean, he wasn't white adjacent. If the critique is somebody being white adjacent, I mean, how can she not be the first person in line for that critique? Somebody make it make sense. Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. Make sure you guys show AB Promotions some love. He's a second stream sponsor for helping me fund the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
cash rules everything around me. Queen, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to AB. AB says, will Trump-Harris debate be entertaining like Trump-Biden was? I don't know. I don't know. What y'all think? What y'all think? I actually showed a coworker of mine an article where they had Kamala Harris listed as an Asian woman. And then I showed her some pictures of her family, and she was like, I had no idea. I was like, well, now you know. And knowing is half the battle. You know what I'm saying? Right? Knowing is half the battle. You know what I'm saying? You don't want Cobra Commander to come after you. Be running around getting called this.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots! I've got morons on my team!
And not to mention the mainstream media just sitting up here putting out a bunch of these.
Unsubstantiated fantasy! Lies! Lies! Lies!
What's wrong with that boy Cobra Commander? I'm still trying to figure it out. What's wrong with him?
Breaking his silence since Sunday, Biden called into a campaign staff meeting.
I know yesterday's news is surprising and it's hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do.
Harris raising record-breaking money in her first 24 hours, taking in $81 million.
How? Look at now. How did they galvanize $81 million in the first 24 hours? Did you guys hear that? If you guys heard that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear that, give me a thumbs down. Somebody make that make sense. And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. So she got this $81 million just now out of the clear blue sky. Boom, $81 million appears. She got all these delegates out of the clear blue sky. Boom, all these delegates just appear. Then she had that Zoom call with the 44,000 women on it, which, God, could you imagine that call? Could you imagine that? Who could imagine 44,000 women talking all at the same time? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? That would be insane. You know what I'm saying? Where did all this stuff come from? How did this happen? This money? Right, exactly. From who? Carlton Way asked the question, is Biden even still in the physical form? That's a great question. Shout out to Cameron. Cameron had said that there was a rumor going around on X that he had kicked the bucket. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? How many people think that Biden is still with us? If you guys think that Biden is still with us, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that he's still with us, give me a thumbs down.
Her first 24 hours, taking in $81 million. That beats former President Trump's almost $53 million raised in a single day after his felony conviction in May.
In the next 106 days, we have work to do.
The 59-year-old also secured the support of enough Democratic delegates to become her party's nominee. A candidate needs 1,976 delegates. As of Monday night, the Associated Press reports Harris has more than 2,500.
How did she? Okay, where? How? Who did this? Where did these come from? How did they mobilize to do this fast? They didn't even say that they didn't even say that everybody agreed on her yet. Shout out to Volvo and shout out to Ryan. What's good with y'all? Think about this. Ask these questions. Shout out to Tedra. Tedra says she think Biden got a hospice nurse. He got some home. He got a HHA. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ryan. Ryan said they don't have a choice but to back Kamala. They're basically throwing crap at a wall that it works, which it probably won't. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Again, I would like to see where all this stuff is coming from.
Delegates to become her party's nominee. A candidate needs 1,976 delegates. As of Monday night, the Associated Press reports Harris has more than 2,500. She also now has the endorsement of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
We're very excited about praising his legacy and electing Kamala Harris.
Now, you guys remember, shout out to the stream yesterday. If you guys are not members until they approve it, you won't be able to see it. If they don't approve it, then you just won't be able to see it unless you're a member. But in the stream that we did yesterday, we went over an article. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that article was from the Daily Beast. And in that article from the Daily Beast, it said that Nancy Pelosi was not supporting Biden. So what changed? or not supporting Harris? What changed overnight? Yeah, facts. We here for it. We here for it. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said the next 180 days are going to be very interesting. Content gold. Facts. We are here for it. You know what I'm saying? We are here for it. And we're going to have the old videos linked that are associated with this particular content. So people can look at the old videos and see what was accurate and see what wasn't.
His legacy and electing Kamala Harris president.
Do you think there should be a more open process for nominating?
Anybody can run.
Meanwhile, the two top Democrats in Congress, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, are expected to meet with Harris. They've yet to endorse her.
Vice President Kamala Harris has excited the community.
The attacks from the Trump-Vance campaign.
What community did Kamala Harris excite? That's my question. Let me shout out to the people in the chat. If you are part of a community that is excited about Kamala Harris, then throw some flames in the chat. If you are not excited about Kamala Harris, throw some angry faces in the chat.
Have already begun.
The border crisis is a Kamala Harris crisis.
We're waiting as everyone's waiting.
The founder of Real Clear Politics with me at 6 says pollsters are in the field now trying to get a clear picture of what a Trump-Harris matchup looks like.
Over the weekend or beginning.
We're going to look at that too. We're gonna look at that too. We're gonna look at 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna look at 4 different polls. And like I said, we're gonna be looking at the polls every single day. We're gonna look at the polls every single day, and we're gonna nail this thing down. And we're gonna be accurate about it.
Next week, we'll have a decent amount of data that gives us a pretty good sign of where this baseline is, because the race is effectively starting over right now.
All over with 100.
The race is starting all over again. I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is. Now, shout out to all the Mark Dice fans in the house, because I know we got a bunch of Mark Dice fans in the house. We about to watch this video about Mark Dice and listen to all, or we about to watch this Mark Dice video and listen to all the dog whistles. But he got some interesting clips in here as it pertains to Kamala Harris. So we're going to check this out.
It's a DEI miracle. Kamala Harris says.
He starts it out calling it a DEI miracle, right? Now, I said that Kamala Harris was DEI as well. But you guys heard my extensive explanation on DEI, and I'm sure understand that when it comes to when I'm referring to somebody as DEI, it's very different than when somebody like Mark Dice is calling somebody DEI. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Where's Mark Dice's lips?
The DEI miracle. Kamala Harris has apparently earned enough delegate support to win the Democrat nomination. That is, unless there's another twist or turn to the story, before the virtual convention in early August, when the delegates actually placed their votes, which is extremely bizarre because not only is she very unlikable, but many within her own party have serious doubts that she would be able to do any better than old Joe in November. And so they wanted an open convention where a bunch of different candidates battled out, or just have the delegates just vote for Gavin Newsom in order to try to win the election for the Democrats. But old Joe may have thrown a wrench in their plans. Stay tuned for that. And just a few days ago, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Now, how many people heard what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said? She was on IG for a long time. I want to say for about an hour, and she actually said a lot. Some of these individuals like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who get their start and build their career off of being a loudmouth in Senate hearing meetings, it might not be a good idea for people to put an automatic muzzle on them after they've talked for a certain amount of time, so that they don't leak out too much information that they're not supposed to be blabbing their mouth about and spreading rumors about. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez decided to do that, and we about to hear exactly what it is that she said. Shout out to Tedra. Make sure y'all show Tedra some love. She trying to keep me from being like this guy.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke. Silence. I ain't got no money, pie.
Tedra says, want to make sure you keep eating so you can continue to bring us all of this chaotic news. Oh, you already know. We on it. We are on it. Shout out to my man, Leonard. Leonard said Mark Dice is the shilliest agent on YouTube. Yo, facts. If you guys agree with Leonard, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Did an hour-long live stream on Instagram where she admitted that there's an obvious power struggle going on within the Democrat Party, and many of them wanted to get rid of old Joe and Kamala and then have the delegates at the convention anoint Gavin Newsom. She said this.
I'm just going to say it. If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Kamala, Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms.
I'm going to run my mouth. I'm going to be modern. There you go. Now imagine that as the president, just something else to consider.
I see what they say in conversations.
Just imagine a top secret meeting or something like that where stuff's not supposed to be discussed, and Kamala Harris just wakes up one day with one chemical off balance and just decides to tell everybody everything. Just imagine.
To leave, that they will support Kamala, Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken.
Shout out to James. What's good with it, bro?
And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not just interested in removing the president. They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. But because of the ruthless power struggle going on within the Democrat Party, one of the factions threw a wrench in the plans of the other one. Because when somebody wrote this letter and then forged old Joe's name on it and posted it on his Twitter account saying that he was ending his re-election campaign on Sunday, there was no reference to endorsing Kamala Harris or any indication whatsoever that she would be taking over as the frontrunner for the DNC. And it was only a half an hour later that finally another tweet got posted saying that old Joe fully endorses Kamala to be the nominee of the party. And so it looks like this tweet was posted from another faction, which then completely derailed the plans to get rid of both of them, because if old Joe endorsed his VP, which wasn't the plan, that completely cut off the possibility or the likelihood of having an open primary, because the infighting within the Democrat Party would be so immense, it would tear them apart. And here's another possibility. This could have been posted by loyal old Joe staffers who didn't want him to get forced out. And then they didn't want to go along with the open convention. And so they endorsed Kamala for him, or convinced him to endorse her, because then if she loses against Donald Trump, because she is a bumbling buffoon, a laughing hyena, then it will cast doubt on the ones who were pushing old Joe to step down. If only Joe stayed in the race, maybe he could have pulled it off, they'll say. And now the liberal media is having a complete meltdown over us daring to criticize Kamala because she's a black woman. She's above reproach.
Now, that's it. How many people have heard the mainstream media, quote unquote, protecting her because she's a quote unquote black woman and she's above reproach, which we could go hours on some comparisons there. Who's heard that? Has anybody heard that? If you guys have heard that anywhere, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Leonard D. Yuta. Leonard said, BLR, make sure you use your copyright disclosure because his team will flag you and call their federal buddies. Their Federalist Society buddies. Now, what's interesting about this is it's amazing to me how people like Mark Dice just completely look past all that actual black people have about Kamala Harris. And I think that is interesting that Mark Dice, in all of his white glory, is sitting there giving misinformation about her ethnicity and about her being a quote-unquote black woman. That's interesting.
You can see how quickly they tried to steal the unity narrative. And I heard from inside Republican circles and right-wing media.
We're trying to steal their unity, she says.
That the hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. You'll notice they purposefully pronounce her name wrong. They say Kamala. They do it all the time. It is on purpose. But the talk is...
Now, what's funny about this, right, is that they say that this is a right-wing thing, calling her Kamala. I never actually knew that her name, the pronunciation of it was Kamala. I never knew that until I heard particular news outlets pronounce it like that. So I've been saying it wrong the entire time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a right-wing person. I just was saying her name wrong. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure you guys show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen funding the organization.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around. I'm rich, biatch.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Brooklyn Queen says, remember that they withheld roughly $90 million from Biden. They want us to think she raised that money. It would be a bigger story if they combined the funds. Right. Now, here goes my question. What do you all think actually happened? Do you guys think that those funds actually got combined? Yeah, they said it was hate speech. I don't know if you guys saw TD's live stream yesterday, but he said somebody was complaining that saying Kamala Harris's name wrong is hate speech. Now, mind you, what I find fascinating about this, right, is that it's a white woman saying all of this, but it must be the translucency thing. Mark Dice doesn't see her. He only hears her.
To start that hate campaign and get it going and start it churning.
I'm sorry, lady, but nobody needed to give me any cue or any orders to hate Kamala Harris. That came completely natural years ago. That's literally the new talking point is if you call her Kamala Harris, like I've been doing, I think, for years. I don't even care how you pronounce her name. And I know Tucker likes to mispronounce people's names as well. That's the new talking point from the Democrats is now that's hate speech.
I think it's a good time to try and get this pronunciation right once and for all. I tell you what.
Now, what I find fascinating about Mark Dice and all of his translucent knowledge is that he doesn't realize that the woman on the screen is actually ethnically the same as Kamala Harris, while Mark Dice is sitting there calling Kamala Harris a black woman. I find that interesting. What do you guys think about that? Some of the largest misinformation and disinformation pushers of ethnic falsehoods are these quote unquote translucentites like Mark Dice, the people that you can't find their lips.
It's not. It is not Kamala Harris. It is not Kamala Harris. It is Kamala Harris, according to her own memoir in 2019.
Okay, whatever. They're going to really start getting upset about all the memes. Memes like this.
So what did you do to become the presidential nominee of your party?
Well, sometimes you just have to talk to her and spit on that thing, you know?
They got her on that one. How many of y'all think that that's what ended up happening? She did the Hawk Tua thing. Let me know.
If you don't know what that means, don't feel like you're out of touch. I'm not even going to explain it. Just be glad that you don't spend too much of your time on Twitter. Of course, during the Republican presidential debates, Vivek Ramaswamy said out loud what was quite obvious to many of us for years.
I also want to close with one message to the Democrat Party. End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up so we can have an honest debate. Biden should step aside, end his candidacy now so we can see whether it's Newsom or Michelle Obama or whoever else. Right, just tell us the truth so we can have an honest debate.
And so
that clip actually aged well. As much as people don't like Vivek Ramaswamy, you know what I'm saying? That clip actually aged well. You know what I'm saying? That clip actually aged pretty well.
Now, this is the Twilight Zone that we're living in, where this creature may very well be the front runner against Donald Trump in November.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. They make really bad decisions.
Well, that is true, but I mean, what's next? Is Kamala Harris going to call for lowering the voting age then? Oh, wait, what's this?
Do you believe that Americans should have the right to vote at age 16?
I'm really interested in having that conversation.
Meanwhile, we haven't seen any proof of life from old Joe in a week now since he was supposed.
Oh, shout out to Carlton and shout out to Cameron. Mark Dice feels the same way as you guys. He's wondering if Joe Biden is still alive.
Diagnosed with COVID, even though he is quadruple vaxxed, or is it octo vaxxed now by this time? And so then a Las Vegas hospital went on standby to treat Joe Biden because he had COVID again. He got it the first time back in 2022, despite being triple vaxxed at the time. And why would a hospital be on standby to treat old Joe for COVID when he is quadruple vaxxed? And they used to tell us this.
If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized. You're not going to get COVID if you have it.
Now, let me ask you guys this. You guys hear what Joe Biden just said? Let me ask you guys this. Doesn't that, based on his own situation with C-19, is that misinformation? Is that misinformation that I just heard? If that's misinformation, give me a thumbs up. If it's not misinformation, give me a thumbs down. So what this means is that the Joe Biden YouTube channel, Joe Biden Twitter account, Joe Biden Facebook account, all of those Joe Biden accounts where he made these particular statements, they should all be taken offline for medical misinformation. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Let's run that back real quick because that's interesting. I got a couple strikes on some videos for that.
And he is quadruple vaxxed, and they used to tell us this.
If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. Yeah.
So there are rumors swirling from people that claim to have sources close to people at the hospital or close to the Las Vegas PD who say that something else happened here to old Joe. And so, of course, the internet supposed fact checkers, the fact suppressors, pounced in order to denounce the unfounded rumor, which claims that old Joe had an undisclosed medical emergency in Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if they used this fancy little device on him with a low dose of something, which was uncovered during the Operation Mockingbird hearings back in the mid-1970s. Take a look.
There's no question about it. It was also for offensive reasons. No question.
Have you brought with you some of those devices which would have enabled the CIA to use this poison for?
We have indeed.
For killing people?
Or incapacitating them, or giving them minor strokes, mini strokes, or heart attacks. There it is. In a congressional hearing, the CIA's rumored frozen.
Wow. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about that?
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if they used this fancy little device on him with a low dose of something, which was uncovered during the Operation Mockingbird hearings back in the mid-1970s. Take a look.
There's no question about it. It was also for offensive reasons. No question.
Have you brought with you some of those devices which would have enabled the CIA to use this poison for?
We have indeed.
For killing people?
Or incapacitating them, or giving them minor strokes, mini strokes, or heart attacks. There it is. In a congressional hearing, the CIA's rumored frozen poison dart gun. Another conspiracy fact. Oh, and by the way,
why would you have that with you at a congressional hearing? Why would you have that with you at a congressional hearing? I have no idea. The same reason why I have no idea that the Democrats decided to do this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're going to take a look at these polls because they updated them. And as you guys can see, they're a day behind. Election 2024 polls now is updated to Harris versus Trump matchup. This is from the New York Times. And as you guys can see, who leads if Harris is the nominee? Trump, 49%. Harris, 46%. Now let's look down here. Latest Harris versus Trump polls. Look at that. Look at all these different polls here. Okay. Only one poll has Harris winning. Okay. This is where it stopped with Trump and Biden. Trump at 47, Biden at 44. So let me see. Still a 3-point spread. Okay. These different states here. Minnesota had Biden in the lead. Virginia had Biden in the lead. Wisconsin has Trump. Pennsylvania, Trump. Michigan, Trump. North Carolina, Trump. Arizona, Trump. Georgia, Trump. Nevada, Trump. Okay. And then again, these are compared against Biden because they don't have enough information about Kamala Harris, allegedly. But we will look at something that does show some interesting stuff about Kamala Harris. Shout out to Torian. What's good with it? The stripper pole, the shower pole, the tab pole, the North Pole. Facts. Now check this out. This is from 538. All right. 538. Now look at this right here. Poll ending July 22nd, 2024. Harris 45, Trump 47. All right. These are older polls going back July 21st, 2024. For the most part, all you can see the red numbers. All of these, except for one, have Trump ahead. And it has a mixed amount of candidates. Most of them Biden, some of them Harris. You know what I'm saying? Not looking good. It doesn't seem like there was any significant change. I got to agree. So sloppy, so unorganized. This is really bad. This is a really bad look. You know what I'm saying? This next one comes from The Hill. Everybody's familiar with The Hill. We're going to take a quick look. 2024 elections. As you guys can see right there, July 23rd of 2024, Trump has a 2.5% lead based on 72 polls. Trump is ahead 48.1%. Harris is down 45.6%. All right. We start looking at these. You see all the red. The only tie here is Ipsos Reuters, 44 and 44. The other polls have Trump winning. Okay. So now when we're talking about this quote unquote newfound momentum and all of this stuff, my question for you guys is, where are we seeing this newfound momentum? Where is it? It's not in these polls. So where are they getting these numbers from? Where are they getting these numbers from? Now, this one right here is from Real Clear Polling. All right. And as you guys can see here, this day in history, July 23rd, 2020. All right. Only two of them have Harris. NPR PBS has Harris at +1. ABC News, Washington Post has Harris at +2. As you guys can see right there, real clear poll average, Trump 48.5, Harris 46.6. And as you look down at all of these other polls, it just looks really bad. All the red is Trump, all the blue is Harris. I shouldn't even say all the blue because the blue is virtually non-existent. So again, my question is, when you look at the media and you hear them talking about all of this newfound galvanized energy and all of this stuff, where is the newfound galvanized energy at, guys? Where is it? We literally just looked at the numbers. So if people want to sit there and say, oh, this is misinformation, this is disinformation, we got the numbers. Like, the numbers are right there. Now, we're going to take a look and listen to what The View has to say. Everybody loves The View, right? How many people respect Whoopi Goldberg's opinion? If you guys respect Whoopi Goldberg's opinion, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't respect Whoopi Goldberg's opinion, give me a thumbs down. The View would be perfect if it was only Sunny Hostin on there and she never said anything. That would be the perfect View. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, somebody has a different creative idea than mine, and that's not how the show turned out. So let's take a look at it. Shout out to Embrace Villainy. What's good with it, bro?
President Biden announced he was going to bow out of the 2024 presidential race, writing in a statement that, quote, while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. This is what everybody was asking for, and this was the decision that he made. And is everybody okay?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, he's the first president since 1968 to step down. I think it shows what a statesman he is. I think it shows what a patriot he is. I think it shows that he can put his country.
See right here? This should be The View. Just this right here. The problem starts when I press the play button.
Before his ego, because he had such a great record as president. I think that history will note him as one of the greatest presidents that we've had. I really do believe that. And I wasn't comfortable with the notion that people were forcing him out. I wasn't comfortable with the cannibalization that I saw in the Democratic Party. But I am comfortable if he made this decision with his inner circle, with Dr. Jill Biden, with his family.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. Do you all think that that's true? Do you think that this was a decision that was made by the quote unquote inner circle and everybody agreed on this and Joe Biden came to a consensus and agreed and left? Or do you think that Joe Biden was kind of pressured and forced out? Which one do you guys think happened? Shout out to Michael R. What's good with you, bro?
And decided to do it on his own. The fact that he has endorsed the vice president, Kamala Harris, to be his successor, makes it even more clear to me that it's not if she's going to be the nominee, it is when she is the nominee.
Shout out to AV Promotions. Some people, I you know what I'm saying? If somebody, you know what I'm saying, tied me up and put a gun to my head and made me watch this, the sunny moments would be good for me. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions like the whoopee. You know what I'm saying? The whoopee moments would be good for AB. I'm not mad at you, bro. Oh man, shout out to Lois. Yeah, I agree. If you guys agree with Lois, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
So I was sad. You know, as I've said here many times, I love Joe Biden, and I'm full of gratitude to Joe Biden today. So Joe Biden, thank you for everything. Over 54 years of career. So I was sad, you know, in the way that when you see
this woman right here, Abin Preach did a video, right? One of the videos that they were doing when they were deciding not to go in on black people like how they usually do. They actually showed who her husband is, and her husband is a billionaire conservative. How many people were aware of that? Which is interesting because as she sits on this show saying all of these, you know, Democrat talking points.
Champion athlete, retire, leave it all on the field and walk away into the sunset. That made me sad. It gave me nostalgia. I was also mad because he's been dragged relentlessly for 3 weeks by some people who supposedly were his friends. I hope that a lot of those donors that went out and said all sorts of things about him come back with a big check now. George Clooney, contigo.
Yeah.
You know, I'm grateful to his staff. I am grateful to Jill Biden. They've taken a lot of incoming in the last 3 weeks, a lot of attacks. They have been part of a very stable and steady administration. I will always be thankful. They took us out of the hell that was COVID, and they took us out of the hell that was Trump. For that, grateful till the end of my days.
So I am also grateful, and I thank President Biden for his decades of service, but I do push back.
All right, so check this out. Check this out. We're going to go back to this Ana Navarro, right? This Ana Navarro. Now, Ana Navarro, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Her husband's name is Al Cardenas. Is that right? If Ana Navarro's husband is named Al Cardenas, confirm that with me. Confirm that with me. Because we're gonna take a look at this, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get back to that, but we just gotta establish this real quick. Truth about Ana Navarro's husband, Al Cardenas. All right. Ana Navarro is a Nicaraguan American conservative political commentator who became widely recognizable in the mid-2010s for being a vocal anti-Trump voice in the Republican Party, as well as frequenting the ABC's The View as a guest host. So now she's a regular. Now she's a regular. In August of 2022, it was announced that she and former Trump White House official Alyssa Farah Griffin would be joining the show as permanent co-hosts. So these other women on the show are also like, you know what I'm saying, Republicans and Trump supporters. You can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? This will largely be to fill the place of Meghan McCain, who was another conservative commentator, right? She was related to what was that dude's name? The McCain dude that ran for president back in the day. Passed away. Military dude. Before becoming a political commentator, Navarro was a well-known Republican strategist, serving as part of former Florida Governor Jeb Bush's transition team and a subsequent administration in 1998. She then served as a national co-chair of the Hispanic Advisory Council for the Republican presidential campaigns of John McCain, which is probably how she ended up getting that job, because she was cool with the daughter McCain, Value Chain McCain, in 2008, as well as John Huntsman Jr. in 2012 per the Tampa Bay Times. All right. Apart from being one of the most vocal anti-Trump conservatives, Navarro has also spoken out in favor of same-sex marriage and abortion, leading her to refer to herself as a centrist. Though she is largely known for her activism and commentary, some may be curious about her husband, Al Cardenas. As it turns out, like his wife, Cardenas is rather political himself. Ana Navarro's husband was chair of the Florida Republican Party. What is this woman talking about? Somebody help me out, ladies and gentlemen. What is this woman talking about? These are the people that call us and call our platforms mis and disinformation. Ana Navarro married her husband, Al Cardenas, in 2019 in a star-studded Florida ceremony per people. At the time, Navarro, who was 47, was getting married for the first time and couldn't help but gush over her new husband. He treats me like I'm a princess. He treats me with so much love and respect. I like everything about him. And then she gets on there and says that he's useless. She gets on that show and then says that her husband is useless. Yeah. Shout out to Karen. How many people remember when she got on there and said that her husband was useless? Oh, but he treats me like a princess. He treats me with so much love and respect. I like everything about him. As it turns out, Navarro and Cardenas have fairly similar backstories. He was born in Cuba and moved to the United States as a young child. Like Navarro, he became a law student before getting heavily involved in Republican politics. So let me ask you guys a question. How did they end up on The View? How do they end up on The View? Does anybody else see any kind of conflict with that? Does anybody else see that as somewhat strange or not making a lot of sense? Per C-SPAN, he then became chairman of the Florida Republican Party from 1999 to 2003, overlapping with Jeb Bush's tenure as governor, and then chairman of the American Conservative Union from 2011 to 2014. He was also the chairman of George W. Bush campaign in Florida in 2004 and the Mitt Romney presidential campaign in 2008. However, Cardenas seems to have largely retired from federal politics, telling the Washington Times upon his retirement from the ACU in 2014 that he had decided to focus more of his time on his day job after one of his law partners died. Now it's evident that my new responsibilities as Squire Sanders LLC will require more travel and allow even less time to dedicate to our beloved ACU, he said at the time. Ana Navarro and Al Cardenas differ on Donald Trump. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think that the difference is? What's the difference between Al Cardenas and his wife on Donald Trump? Though Ana Navarro and her husband, Al Cardenas, are both conservative critics of Donald Trump, the two evidently differed when it came to Trump's initial run for president in 2016. While Navarro says she voted Democrat for the Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton, Cardenas, albeit reluctantly, ended up voting for the New York businessman. So she voted for Hillary Clinton. Isn't that interesting? How many people find that interesting? In an interview with Spain-based newspaper El País, he revealed he voted for Trump for two main reasons. First, he said, out of loyalty to the Republican Party. And second, because I was convinced that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. One of his reservations with Trump, Cardenas said, it seemed to me that his behavior was not up to the dignity that implies the most important position in the world. Of course, Trump would end up winning the election in part because of his victory in Cardenas' state of Florida. All right. Well. Sitting there on The View with Whoopi Goldberg and Son. Shout out to Shatira. What's good with it? How come they never go into her political views? Interesting, isn't it? Just thought that, you know, people might want to see the receipts on that. All right, let's get it.
Taken a lot of income in the last 3 weeks, a lot of attacks. They have been part of a very stable and steady administration. I will always be thankful. They took us out of the hell that was COVID, and they took us out of the hell that was Trump. For that, grateful till the end of my days.
So I am also grateful, and I thank President Biden for decades of service, but I do push back a little on Anna and Sonny's take on the party. And there is room for criticism when you're talking about the biggest job in the world. And I don't think those people that are friends, even George Clooney's op-ed, was really touching and beautifully written, saying,
I agree 110%. Shout out to DC Precise. I agree with you too, bro. Cameron says the Democrats are a right-wing party as well. America is far right as a whole. Democrats are only left on legitimate issues. Yeah, I agree. If you guys agree with Cameron, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%.
this is hard to say out loud. So a lot of those people were torn themselves. And a party, it's not a president, it's an entire party. And every election matters down that ballot as well. They were allowed to also speak up for their. So I commend the people that took that risk and said, we need to do this, because I do think that began some very hard conversations. But I will say,
what's good with it,
what
bro?
jumps out at me
Shout
is
out
the
to
stark
John.
contrast in how Trump handled Biden, President Biden stepping down, and how President Biden handled after Trump was, there was an attempted assassination. President Biden picked up the phone and he called the Trump, former President Trump, and he sent well wishes to the family. He right away put out unifying messages saying, you know, we're in this together. We need to tone the rhetoric down. Former President Trump jumped on social and started to berate him, has continued through this morning. Now, in any competition, when someone gets hurt and they step off the field, now they're no longer your competition. They're just someone on the sidelines. He has continued to drag President Biden in a way that, to me, shows you the difference in what we're dealing with this election, and which we haven't seen from Donald Trump ever.
Listen, I think it takes character and integrity.
So
to
again, this is just nothing but gaslighting, and I want you guys to see how programmed the mainstream media is. Literally, they're all saying the same thing. So what that means for the most part is that somebody wrote this script for them, and all they're doing is just repeating talking points to try to get people who are watching to believe what they're saying as the truth. Now we got to go talk about your boy Charlamagne. We got to go talk about your boy Charlamagne. How many people remember Charlamagne when he said a vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris? And do you guys remember when he said that? We played those videos, and I was like, yo, check this out. He's warming people up for some type of situation. He's warming people up for some type of situation. Well, now he's back, and take a wild guess what he's saying. He's consistent. What he's saying is vote for Kamala Harris.
Of Native Land podcast, also with us, Charlamagne Da God, co-host of the popular iHeartRadio show, The Breakfast Club. Also the author of the new book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. There it is. There it is, everybody.
How many people actually, how many people think that Charlamagne is actually gonna die lying? Yeah, remember we were called, shout out to John, we were calling it the skeptic grift. We were calling it the skeptic grift. At the same time, he was saying, I don't support Joe Biden, but vote for her because you're voting for Kamala Harris. Let me ask you guys this question. In what election ever has anyone ever said vote for the vice president as the main reason why you're voting? Who in the history of voting has ever voted for the vice president as their main ticket issue? Who has ever done that? Is there anybody that's ever done that? Who's ever done it? And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. And if you're not part of the Discord, hit that link that's pinned in the chat.
Joining us now, Angela Rye. She's the host of Native Land podcast. Also with us, Charlamagne Da God, co-host of the popular iHeartRadio show, The Breakfast Club. Also the author of the new book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. There it is. There it is. Everybody run out and get it. Angela, already conservatives are making comments aimed at Vice President Kamala Harris's race. Listen to what Republican Congressman Tim Burchett told CNN today.
Shout out to Harlem. I'm going to tell you why, bro. Shout out to Harlem. Harlem says that dude is a clown. I don't know why people still listen to him. I don't think that it's so much that people listen to him. It's just that the mainstream media has such a larger apparatus to be able to repeatedly bombard people with him and things that he's saying. It seems like people are giving him more credit organically than what's actually going on artificially. Shout out to Michael R. Michael R said, "Is it just me or is Angela fine as hell?" Man, listen, I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, would be 10s if you know what I'm saying, if they were mute.
Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president. He just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group?
There you go. So now this is how Biden set himself up for that DEI argument. If you guys see how Biden set him up for that DEI argument, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't see that, give me a thumbs down. Anytime, listen, going forward, one thing that black people, ain't nobody worried about what anybody else do. Black people, anytime going forward, black people should always concentrate on how superior their qualifications are than anybody else, and make sure that anybody who's involved in the hiring process or anybody who's doing the evaluation focuses on your superiority. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. If you have a bunch of non-black people race hustling, because DEI is a white race hustle, race hustling the DEI thing, selling your blackness, other white people who have an issue with it are always going to sit there and try to say that you're DEI, even if you're not. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group?
And shout out to Michael R. Michael R said all Biden said was that he would hire a woman. He never said anything about black. Check the record. Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said, I wish he would do a heel turn like when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO and do the leg drop on Jake Tapper and tear off his shirt and have MAGA one underneath it, bro. That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. Hit him up like Shawn Michaels did Marty Jannetty at the basketball shop. Y'all remember that? Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Just when you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
Are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%.
Yeah.
She was a DEI hire.
Angela,
bro, listen, I'm going to tell you exactly what goes on for the dinner at his house. The corn is not on a cob, it's in a can. It gets open, the can gets open, and it goes right from the can into a pot. And not only do it go into a can on, not only do it go to a pot on the stove, but they put a half can of water in the pot and then boil it and serve it up like that's supposed to be something good. No, we don't use salt. We don't use pepper in this house. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sois Muscle Pain. Make sure y'all throw some like enforcers in the chat for Sois Muscle Pain. Definitely appreciate it.
What's your reaction to that?
My reaction to that is DEI didn't earn it unless you're talking about legacy admissions and some of the trust funds that many of those members of Congress have. What you have in Kamala Harris is someone who was not only a county prosecutor, a state attorney general for California, a statewide elected United States senator, and now the vice president. I don't know about you, Jake, but
now here goes my question. How competent was she at those jobs that she just listed? A lot of people have issues, right? A lot of people have issues with the way Kamala Harris conducted herself and how she did her prosecutions when she was in the state of California. So again, all of these things that she listed, holding a position is not indicative of doing that position well or being qualified for that position that you're simply listing on a resume. Would you guys agree?
The track record for most of our vice presidents, she's pretty much on par. So I would argue that it is in fact not mediocre. What is showing in this clip is this man's racism. It's very clear that he has compared black.
I would not disagree with what she just said, but at the same time, it's amazing how she's not going to say that about what the Democrats do as well. Because we all know that the Democrats are notorious for that. The Democrats are notorious for that. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. So how can you call it out on one side and then not say anything about it when it goes down on the other side?
Community know that we have to be twice as good and 3 times as qualified, and that is what you have in Kamala Harris.
Charlamagne, what's your response when you hear white Republicans.
And again, I disagree with that. We do not have to do that. What we have to do is we have to control our businesses, control our companies, control our organization, take full control of our money flow and how our money and assets and resources get distributed. And then we make the choices of who we pick and choose for the people that we employ and break bread with. DEI is only a factor if you're going to white jobs, if you're looking to live app life. How many people rock with app life? Y'all know we don't do app life over here. Now, a lot of us are living the app life, but we working against it. You know what I'm saying? We working to try to improve our situation. But fundamentally, nobody's end goal is app life. Who here has an end goal of app life? We got an end goal of independence.
Republican congressman referring to President Harris as a DEI hire.
I would say MAGA has a lot of DEI hires too. You know, conservatives have a lot of DEI hires, but DEI stands for delusion, entitlement, and idiocracy. Because they're delusional because they think Donald Trump is their savior. They're entitled because they're a bunch of privileged white men who want everybody else to stay in their place. And the idiocracy comes into play because that's the movie the RNC convention reminded me of the other night.
Classic film by Mike Judge. You previously, Charlamagne, you previously called both Joe Biden and Donald Trump trash candidates, and you said you would vote in this election, but you would endorse Biden. Now that he's out.
Now, I want you guys, do you see what they were setting up for way back when Charlamagne said this? How many people, now you guys remember, in that live stream that I did, we talked about how the White House said that they correspond with Charlamagne, right? The White House said that they correspond with Charlamagne. So knowing that the White House corresponds with Charlamagne, how many of you all think that Charlamagne might have been privy to this move that's going on right now as we see it in real time? Let me know.
It comes into play because that's the movie the RNC convention reminded me of the other night.
Classic film by Mike Judge. You previously, Charlamagne, you previously called both Joe Biden and Donald Trump trash candidates, and you said you would vote in this election, you would not endorse Biden. Now that he's out, do you think you might endorse Vice President Kamala Harris should she get the nomination?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely would endorse Vice President Kamala Harris. I supported Kamala Harris in 2020.
Right. You know what? I need everybody in the chat to start typing in questionably racist stuff that Democrats have said. Who can name the politician that said we don't know what computers are? Didn't somebody else say poor kids and black kids? Who said that stuff? Oh, here we go. We can't. Speaking of Charlamagne, you know what I'm saying? We can't forget about this. Can't forget about this.
You ain't black.
I mean, the receipts write themselves.
And for president, I was out there on the campaign trail with, she was the only reason that I voted for the Biden-Harris ticket to begin with. And, we have our, disagreements on air and off air. But I think that, she is the perfect person, to be in these, to fight in these unprecedented times right now. So
Angela,
absolutely.
what do you make?
Let me ask you guys this question. Do you all notice how when it comes to what was just being talked about there, that there was no appeal to, for one, what Kamala Harris would do for her voter constituency, and another, there was no appeal to her qualifications? How many people are starting to notice, right? Or how many people have noticed for a long time that when it comes to the way they attempt to deliver a message, they never attempt to deliver a message with information integrity as it pertains to trying to deliver messages to us. They always attempt to deliver messages that have emotional appeal. That's one of the reasons why these people select these quote unquote first blacks and then flag them in front of everybody's face like, here's your first black. And we're supposed to be in this mind state of believing that we're so downtrodden and incapable that thank you for selecting a first black. No. We're closing the casket on that school of thought. What we're trying to do is figure out why we're 3 minutes and 11 seconds into this video and we haven't walked away with anything any of these people plan to do to earn our vote, because they need to earn our vote the same way they need to earn the election. Because if you don't earn our vote, we're contributing to them being DEI. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you all say that the last 60 years of Democrats have been DEI? Because they sure didn't earn our votes. Let me know.
Donald Trump saying that he is building support among black voters?
I don't. I make the same thing out of it that exists. It's absolutely nothing burger. Donald Trump does not have a tremendous track record with black people. I think many of us can see through the lies, the parallels that he's trying to make with his, entanglements with the system are not real. There are black folks who are struggling to make and pay legal bills every day, struggling to figure out how they're going to raise bail money. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Governor Kemp signed a bill into law that would prevent organizations that help people make bail. He did that. That is Donald Trump's, someone who's just like Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump. When you look at what
shout out to Carlos and shout out to Win Lose a Rug. What's good with y'all?
Project 2025 is all about. We know that most of those policies will hit us harder than anywhere else. When you look at what the Supreme Court has done with the 3 appointments from Donald Trump, we know that those policies are impacting us more than anyone else. So in our community, folks don't get immunity, right? He's offering immunity for police, for law enforcement, and he has immunity himself. That's something that we don't ever have. In fact, we are guilty until proven innocent in our community. So there's no there. I think that at best, he gets 16% of the black vote. And I think even that's a stretch.
Angela, Vice President Harris's advisors say that her campaign is going to lean heavily into the choice between her and
you guys notice how they're not asking the question, well, where are the black voters going? Now, we know a lot of the black voters are not going to Trump. If you're a black voter and you're going to couch, go to couch in the chat. We know that that's the situation that more than likely is happening, right? Do you guys notice how they're not talking about that? They're trying to make this a binary conversation. The reason why they're not talking about that and making it a binary conversation is because if they add the couch to the black people who are going to vote for Trump, what that shows is a larger amount of black people moving in one direction or the other away from the Democrats, which is something that they do not want to admit having a vulnerability of. If you talk about the small amount of increasing Trump support and you talk about the large amount of people saying that they're not going to vote at all, now what we see is a trend of people are just moving away from the Democrats, and the Democrats are just hemorrhaging support all over the place. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
And Donald Trump is convicted felon. Do you think that's wise? Is that what voters want, a prosecutor?
I think there's never been a time where voters would want a prosecutor more.
How can you ask a question of is this what voters want when really no voters even picked Kamala? Nobody picked what voters picked Kamala to be the 2024 presidential candidate. Shout out to Patrick. What's good with it, bro? Think about that. Think about that. Seriously. She got the delegates, but what voters made Kamala the 2024 lead candidate? Yeah, I got to agree. If you guys agree with Ricky, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Ricky says, if Republicans getting 16% black vote, rest stay home, how would Democrats Trump will win? Yeah, I agree. I agree with your math, bro. We saw it on the charts earlier.
Or you have someone who has a proven track record, again, as a prosecutor, as a state's attorney, as an attorney general, rather. And she has demonstrated that she knows how to prosecute cases against the most corrupt among us. And I think Donald Trump is absolutely that. We're talking about someone with 88 indictments, well, less the case that was just thrown out by his appointed judge.
And you know what you say to that? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, we'll also see a trend of people telling us not to worry about reparations because democracy is on the line and we must keep Trump from winning. I'll tell you what, tell them we've been economically suppressed and we live under economic tyranny and we've never had democracy, and democracy for us is reparations. You know what I'm saying? So democracy for us being on the line is not a matter of Trump or Biden. It's a matter of reparations. So whoever wants to give us democracy in the form of reparations, guess what you just got? You know what I'm saying? Just what you just earned. You just earned a vote. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, Win Lose a Rug. Make sure y'all show Win Lose a Rug some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Win Lose a Rug, funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
bitch! Win Loser Rug said, was just having this convo with my girl. Our Democratic representatives have moved further and further away from the concerns of the grassroots. I agree 100%. If you guys agree with Win Loser Rug, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
But Donald Trump is someone who face his record. His record is filled with criminality long before he went through the White House doors. And I think wrote out yesterday demonstrating that contrast. And I think that's exactly where they have to stay, in addition to demonstrating how it will be a win for voters to vote for Kamala Harris. So they need to know what they're voting against, certainly, but also what they're getting in voting for her.
Okay, what are we getting? What are we getting? Okay, I agree. Anybody going to tell us what we're getting?
And Charlamagne, in your new book, you write,
I don't even know if that's the right question. People, asking if America's ready for a prosecutor. I mean, is America ready for somebody with all of the criminal charges that Donald Trump has?
Right.
I mean, in most jobs,
now check this out, right? How many people would agree that the country was started by people with probably worse crimes under their belt than Trump? Let's keep it a buck about the United States of America. Trump is probably more consistent with the degeneracy of the founding people who are just like him that founded the country than a Kamala Harris, regardless of all of the negative things that we think about her. Trump is more consistent with the crooks, the leaders, extorters, racketeers that started the country. You know what I'm saying?
most convicted felons can't even, get those kind of jobs that Donald Trump is currently campaigning for. They barely can get jobs at McDonald's. They barely can get jobs at McDonald's. So it's weird. It's weird to have to say, is America ready for a prosecutor? No, is America ready to elect a
Ha! Shout out to DC Precise. DC Precise said we're gonna get that BBL Curry. Now, I want y'all to see this. How many people know who Jamie Harrison is? Let me ask you this, and here's another thing that I'm sick of. This is another thing that I'm sick of, man. Let me ask y'all this. How many people are tired of them every single time they show a black male? The guy either is emotional or crying about Trump or about Biden. You got Tim Scott crying and showing his 5 rows of teeth all over the place. And just can't stop saying that he loves another man. Then you got Van Jones sniffling and snot dripping all over the place, sitting up there talking about he loves Biden and all of this. Then you got this dude right here, Jamie Harrison. All right, another one, don't have no hair on their face. You know what I'm saying? No hair whatsoever. I mean, he got a Brazilian wax across his entire face. And he about to sit up here crying. I'm emotional because Joe Biden got out of the race. If they don't stop putting these men up here, sitting up here talking about they emotional, they really need to. Would you guys agree?
And I just want to say this on a personal level. I am emotional about the president's decision because this president, Joe Biden, has been a transformational president. He's been a great leader. He's a good man, a decent man who has done so.
All of these, I want you guys to pay very close attention. You guys remember we was talking about master and slave morality? I want you guys to understand when it comes to the appeal, when they get people like this who are talking, they're always attempting to appeal to slave morality. They're attempting to appeal to morality. These are moral arguments. These are not any arguments that are giving a listing of tasks that are tangible, that you could look at each bullet point and say, this is what he did. It's all about feelings and mush. It's not about any form of production. I just feel this kind of way, and I'm all rosy inside, and all the butterflies and rose petals falling and flying around in my stomach. I think I'm going to have a teardrop fall out of my eye. It's always slave morality. Never allow slave morality to appeal your interest. And when I say slave morality, I'm talking about Nietzsche. Shout out to my man, Keep It 100. I'm talking about the philosopher Nietzsche.
And I just want to say this on a personal level. I am emotional about the president's decision because this president, Joe.
Let me ask you guys this question. Can anybody name any white person at all who they've had discussing this situation with Joe Biden who has led with saying, I'm emotional? Even Trump with the assassination attempt and everybody flipping out and everything going on over there, are they leading talking about they're emotional? Are they leading talking about they're emotional? Let me know.
Joe Biden has been a transformational president. He's been a great leader. He's a good man, a decent.
What has he transformed and how has he been a great leader? These are the questions. We need to deal with these one by one. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said we got a propaganda 2025 propaganda in the chat. That the person that is doing the Project 2025 propaganda, have you read the entire book?
Man who has done so much for this nation, but so much to see.
Now now to the Project 2025 propagandists. If we vote against Project 2025, will we get reparations or not? I will be willing to go full anti-Project 2025 if the Democrats are promising reparations. I'm not going to pay somebody to not punch me. Because first and foremost, I can defend myself, right? I'm going to pay somebody for what they will do for me. I'm not going to pay the Democrats to protect them from Project 2025. Because if Project 2025, quote unquote, reshapes the federal government the way that they say that it will, one of the first layers of people that it will affect is all of those high-paid Democrat and Republican presidential, governmental, agency jobs and organizational jobs. I don't work for the government. You know what I'm saying? I don't work for the government. So what I want to know is, if we vote against Project 2025, are we guaranteed reparations? If the answer is no, then what you and people like you need to do is go tell me what I'm going to get paid for my vote. And if I feel that it's sufficient, you'll get a vote. If I feel that it's not sufficient, I'm going to keep my wallet in my pocket and continue to shop. It's just that simple. Again, Renee, what you're telling me what Project 2025 is going to do to Democrats. I want to know what I'm going to get for my vote. What are the Democrats going to give me for my vote? The Democrats do not want Project 2025. I want something for my vote. I'm not going to vote for a proxy benefit. I'm going to vote for a direct benefit. If you don't have anything direct for me, then you don't have anything for me at all. You know what I'm saying?
Us as people, to value us, to fight for us. I think about the transformational things we have seen over the course of these past 3.5 years, from the investment into our climate, fighting against the climate crisis, helping those burdened by student loans, bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. It has been transformational as it relates to what he has done and what he has accomplished.
What's good with you, bro?
And you know, I'm emotional.
I'm emotional. Let me ask you guys this question. Shout out to the fellas in the chat. When you guys see a Brazilian wax-faced, hairless black dude like this sitting up on TV crying, talking about they emotional about a white dude that got 1 foot in a grave, about to leave office because he wasn't qualified health-wise to be there anyway. How many of you all get emotional and feel like you're going to dehydrate because so many tears are coming out? If you are one of those people, then give me a thumbs up. If you are not one of those people, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to the TCU. We got the TCU in the building. I got a feeling the propaganda about to stop.
Because I am still riding with Biden. I still support my president.
Well, you riding with, but you the only one, and you sound like you riding in a Hertz. Like that's crazy. Like, this is what I'm saying, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. So again, I'm still trying to figure out where and how did Kamala Harris get all these delegates so fast? Where did she get all these from? And where did they come from? How did she get them so fast? Now, they're sitting up here saying this is going to get ugly very quickly on CNN, right? And I didn't watch this video. So we're going to watch this video together. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to say, what they're saying about how this is going to get ugly. Let's see. Let's see what they're talking about.
All right, Van, this thing is over. It is over.
She whooped everybody. It's unbelievable. People were worried about a coronation. It was not a coronation. It was a culmination of really hard work, mostly by Black women.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out to Tedra. Tedra's absolutely right. Tedra said these emotional men are the same ones who will tell the women not to be so emotional. And they're also the guys who will tell those dudes not to tell women to be so emotional, but will completely go in full simp cell radical blue pill rage and pookie out and beat the brakes off of someone over another woman or something else, something simple. Because the simp cells and the incels are the same people. You know what I'm saying? The same way the Democrats and the Republicans are the same people.
Scenes who figured out this thing was gonna be a loose ball, and this party could not devolve into chaos. And women like Donna Brazile, Karen Finney, Joteka Edie, and on decided they were going to make sure that this ball wound up in capable hands, and they did. And it's going to go down in history as one of the most effective political operations in history. Literally 36 hours, the most money ever raised, the nominations.
Where did it come from? Now, shout out, I don't know if you guys have been catching TD Media Group's live streams or not, but in TD Media's most recent live stream, he had the clips where Van Jones said that he literally had no political experience. So my question is, if Van Jones don't have any political experience, I mean, why is he the front man on all of this? Why is he the front man on all of this? This dude is bald-headed. This dude don't have no facial hair. He's sitting up here talking a bunch of nonsense. And I mean, I don't even understand how he continues to wear glasses. He should just wear contacts because he's constantly crying all the time. I bet you he wears out one of those little cloth things to wipe off your glasses. He wears out one of those things a week from crying all over his glasses. No one wants to see one of these snot-nosed, tear-faced dudes all the time sitting up here crying about stuff that you don't have, like, you don't even have any kind of influence over. Shout out to B. Renee. B. Renee says, how many of you earned money from the opportunity zones? More than likely, none of us. I know I haven't. How many people in the chat earned money from opportunity zones? If you earned money from opportunity zones, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. You want here? I'm going to ask another question. My opportunity zone is my job in my business, right? I earn money from there. You know what I'm saying? I earn money from YouTube. And guess what? Just like those opportunity zones, anybody can earn money at a job or on YouTube. Those opportunity zones are not something that are specifically for Black people, not specifically for Black men, or not specifically for Black women. A large majority of Black people do not benefit from those blanket people of color programs that they try to put a Black face on and sell. The same way they try to put a Black face on Kamala Harris and sell. She is an artificial constructed candidate. Kamala Harris is a Mrs. Potato Head Black woman. She's not even a Black woman. She has a Frankenstein construction of an ethnicity. She has a Frankenstein construction of an ethnicity, and they're trying to sit here and sell her to us as if she's somehow a face of Black America or somehow a face of Black people. How? How are you a face of Black people when you have a picture with all of the women in your family wearing curtains and tablecloths? How are you a Black? I've never seen no Black people wear no curtains and tablecloths. Whoever see now, I've seen some Black people from some other places wear curtains and tablecloths, but I ain't never seen no Black Americans wear no curtains and tablecloths. And them curtains and tablecloths that Kamala Harris and her family had on, they didn't look like them curtains and tablecloths that I see the other Black people wearing. This doesn't have anything to do with the one drop rule. How does this? She doesn't have one drop. How you know what I'm saying? This doesn't have anything to do with the one drop rule. Her mother's birth certificate says white. Indian people in the United States fought to be white. Her father is mixed. How does a Indian woman and a mixed man make a Black woman? Somebody explain that to me. Her father is Jamaican and Irish. So you're lying. Jamaican is his nationality. His racial makeup is Black, which would be Jamaican, and Irish, which is white, which means that her father is mixed. How can a mixed person and an Asian mom with a white check mark crossed on her birth certificate, how can that make a Black person? And my thing is, I don't even care what her genetic ethnic makeup is. Why is she trying to sell herself as something that she's not? How happy would you be if you paid for a large pizza and you got a pan pizza, a small one? You wouldn't be very happy. Why? Because somebody lied to you. You didn't get what you were sold. There was false advertising. If the Democrats are the actual people of color coalition, Kamala Harris is absolutely a woman of color. Why don't she just sell herself as a woman of color instead of sitting there saying that she's Black when the opportunity suits, and then sitting there saying she's Asian when the other opportunity suits? Just say that you mixed. We're not a genetic trash can. The same way everyone else has barriers of entry to who and how they are, we do too. We're not just all inclusive. We'll be cool with you. Shout out to you if you're nice. You know what I'm saying? You rock with us, come kick it at a party or something like that. But we got barriers to entry. And her family fought to be white. Her family fought to be white. You know what I'm saying? How many people saw that live stream all white earth? If you saw that live stream all white everything, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, then give me a thumbs down. My family fought to survive as Black people. Her family fought to be white.
Is a high caste Hindu of full Indian blood born in Punjab, India, a white person? This question was asked before the US Supreme Court in 1923. The plaintiff, Bhagat Singh Tin, was an educated English-speaking Indian immigrant and US Army veteran who had already tried to naturalize twice as a US citizen by arguing that he was white. And that's because at the time, Congress limited naturalization to free white people and those of African ancestry and nativity.
This is what she fought to be. This is what her family fought to be. Her family fought to be a free white person. Last time I checked, that's identity theft. They got software to take care of people like Kamala Harris. Shout out to Norton. Shout out to McAfee. They got software to take care of people like her.
So what does this little known but consequential court case tell us about the largest story of white supremacy and citizenship in America? And July 4th, 1913, 20 pinned the SS Seattle, Washington. Over 14.5 million immigrants came to the U.S.
Yeah,
between
and we got people sitting up here trying to tell us. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about how it's dangerous. You gotta have the borders up. Just because you got the borders up don't mean that you hate other people. But I'm tired of people. Oh, Myron Gaines is black. Kamala Harris is black. Man, no, they're not. No, they're not. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick Tyler. Make sure y'all show Patrick some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to DeAndre. What's good with you, bro? I mean, this is stuff that anybody could just look up. Oh, shout out to Patrick. I didn't even read the super chat. Patrick said, preach, Rob. She isn't even an ally to us. Exactly. It would be a different story if she was an ally. But if she was an ally, she wouldn't even lie about her ethnicity. When do allies lie about their ethnicity? When do allies lie about their race? An ally is not going to lie to you. You know what I'm saying?
In 1920. Tin was one of 8,000 South Asians who had emigrated to the United States during this period of mass immigration. At the time of Tin's arrival, the U.S. had a population of over 92 million people. So
now we're gonna go through. We're gonna actually look at this entire video on the next all-white everything, because I know y'all seen that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do an all-white everything too. But the reason why I did that all-white everything video is because people got to stop this silliness, man. Like that B Renee that was just in here. Where's she at? She's just like one of those people who were on that Zoom call to give Kamala Harris all that money. You're galvanizing behind your race and ethnicity to give somebody who's false flagging as your race and ethnicity a bunch of money. Now, you know, people can do what they want to and play how they want to play, but why would you do that? And I'm not the one that's ignorant. Make sure you understand that. I'm not the one that's ignorant. That U.S. government that you were talking about, that Project 2025 that you were trying to fearmonger about, just understand how I showed how that exact same U.S. government made your candidate a white woman and her mother. Unbelievable. My ignorance. Do you think that we're an open door? Do you consider yourself a genetic trash can? Have some pride about yourself. Do you consider yourself unique? Well, then don't care about labels. I'll tell you what you should do is you should take off the label of every chemical in your house and let your child play around with it and see how that works out, since you don't care about labels. I guarantee you, you're going to want to make sure that the bleach is labeled. I guarantee you're going to make sure that the ammonia is labeled. I'm sure you're going to want to make sure that the pine saw is labeled so that somebody doesn't think that it's lemonade. But go ahead and not care about labels. You don't care about labels. Do you care about carbon monoxide? Do you care about oxygen? Like, what the hell?
All right, Van, this thing is over. It is over.
She whooped everybody. It's unbelievable. People were worried about a coronation. It was not a coronation. It was a culmination of really hard work, mostly by Black women behind the scenes, who figured out this thing was gonna be a loose ball, and this party could not devolve into chaos. And women
when Van Jones is saying about what was going on behind the scene, we'll talk about it later. You have a sense of smell. That's not going to help you with carbon monoxide, B. Renee. I know you don't care about smells because smells are labels, but carbon monoxide is tasteless and odorless.
Like Donna Brazile, Karen Finney, Joe Edie, and on, decided that they were going to make sure that this ball wound up in capable hands, and they did. And it is.
If Kamala Harris shows empathy for Palestinians, then Palestinians should support her by voting for her. Then what does her showing Palestinians empathy have to do with anybody in here? Is there anybody in here who's Palestinian? If you're Palestinian and you're in the chat, please give us a thumbs up. You will not get attacked. I'm just curious. Shout out to Master Wagnus. Welcome back. What's good with it, bro? There's nothing wrong with showing empathy for Palestinians, but we got to deal with our business first. And we're not Palestinian. They got their own issues to deal with. You said somebody made a comment about it? I missed the comment, so okay.
Going to go down in history as one of the most effective political operations in American history. Literally 36 hours, the most money ever raised, the nomination sold up, and nobody even raised a pinky.
Have you ever live streamed before? Have you ever live streamed before? Have you ever done that? Or are you just in the chat? I'm curious. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this one time. You see CNN right here, how they got 5 people on the screen, and they got a whole team of people? They do live streams, and they don't read the chat, and they have an entire team of people. I'm operating 2 computers and a graphics card by myself, switching from screen to screen. If you want to guarantee that your chat gets read, send a super chat. If you don't, watch the show and enjoy the other nice people in the chat. Okay. Oh, okay. See, so you got me out here again. All right.
They're not a picker. They don't want none of this. They don't want none.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what is interesting to me is that I think people were worried that this would be like out of fear. Oh, you can't not back her. But that's not actually what we saw happen. There was actual excitement. I really honestly, Democrats, in my view as a reporter, I've been covering Democrats for a long time. I have never seen this kind of energy since Barack Obama back in the
You can honestly feel the energy. I have never.
Now, here goes my thing, right? And I want to ask you this question, August. You all right? Don't worry. Don't trip. You all right? Now, here go my question. I get it that you want Harris to win, right? That's cool. Because we don't do that over here. Like, if there's people in the chat that want Trump to win, that's cool. If you a couch person, that's cool, right? As long as you got a logical reason of why you're voting the way that you're voting or why you're not voting the way that you're voting. My question is, what are you going to receive for your Harris 2024 vote? Share with us the value in voting for Kamala Harris. What are you going to get back? That's my question for you. And shout out to Alvin Learning. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show Alvin Learning some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Alvin Learning standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to Tampa Supreme. What's good with it, bro? So Mike, you said somebody timed somebody out. Why? Who timed who out? Y'all gonna wake up one day and ain't gonna be no wrenches. Y'all gonna wake up one day and it ain't gonna be no wrenches. Did y'all time August out? Don't snitch on each other, because y'all know I ain't about to go back and look. But I'm gonna say it one last time. This is the last time I'm gonna say it. Oh, 300 seconds. All right, then. They can live for 300 seconds. All right, Jay. Y'all better thank Jay. Throw some flames and radiation emojis and some ducks in the chat for Jay for saving y'all wrenches.
Seen politics work this well and this swiftly, because after even just locking up the support and making sure there's no competition there, that they were lining up behind her, the rollout in the last 20.
Now, shout out to Master Wagnus, right? Master Wagnus said I personally want to see a melanated person in power, and that's it. Now, here go my question. I'm not mad at that, right? But here go my question, though. Do you feel here? What direct benefit would you get from Kamala Harris being in power? Do you feel that Kamala Harris being in power will give you a better direct benefit than the alternative of Trump winning? Because, see, to me, that's just not enough. And as far as that goes, that's almost like you're getting the vote and you're getting the win. And what am I getting? Now, my thing is, I'd be all about contributing to, quote unquote, a melanated person getting in power if I'm going to get something out of it. And I got to guaranteed get something out of it. Got to get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think anybody in here is mad at that. But I think the people here are more transaction-based and results-based and task-oriented and actually want something in return, which we should. And then, yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. We got to ask that question: is Kamala Harris considered a melanated person? And if there's a debate, then that means that you know what the answers are. You know what I'm saying? Master Wagner said, if it can bring blacks together, it's a win in my eyes. We can stop half of the gender war, to be honest, and move as a collective and organize. I think that there's always going to be some extent of a gender war. I don't think that the gender war per se is as realistic in real life as it is on social media. I think it's like more so overblown and algorithmized on social media. As far as Kamala Harris bringing black people together, my question is, what's the path to that? How do you think Kamala Harris will bring black people together? Honestly, as of right now, if you ask me, a lot of black people are divided on the fact that Kamala Harris isn't even really a black woman. So she's already she's already causing division. You know what I'm saying? But I would agree, if it brings black people together and it brings black people together for something positive, right? Then that would be good. But at this point, I just haven't seen that. I haven't seen that happen. And I don't see how that would happen. What's the path to that? You know what I'm saying? I see everybody coming in with it. Shout out to Tampa. Tampa said, I heard Joe ain't even I heard Joe ain't even above ground no more. I heard that too, man. They've been saying that. That would be crazy if we hear that later on the day that you know what I'm saying? So that brother, you know what I'm saying, the sand in the hourglass went out. You know what I'm saying? All right, yeah. So you back. So you can comment now, August. So my question for you, August, what are you expecting to get back from your vote for Kamala Harris? Because again, I'm not saying not to vote for her. If you think you're gonna get something back that's of value, but share with us what is of value that you're gonna get back. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Shout out to Deneen Grant. Deneen Grant said there's a trend on X of full black women who are not going to be voting for Kamala. I mean, my thing is, I think that Kamala Harris, she should really answer for that. I mean, what's up with the false flagging? Why you know what I mean? Like, we got to get an explanation. What's up with that? Shout out to August. August says, yes, per Kamala, I simply want protections for LGBTQ plus and women. Trump will roll back protection. So what is your ethnicity, August? What is your race and ethnicity? Because the thing is that people always say, well, take race out of it. Take race out of it. Yeah, race is parallel to politics. Ethnicity is parallel to politics. So I think if you told people what your ethnicity was and your ethnicity was different than ours, I don't think as many people would have a issue with what you want from Kamala Harris versus the issues that we have that we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, what your ethnicity is or what your race is, but if yeah, well, there you go. That makes sense why you would want those things that you want. And we're not Scottish, no offense, you know what I'm saying? We're not white, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a woman. So that's where a lot of the differences and the things that we want and expect come from right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I get that. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping. So I mean, then you're gonna get something out of it. You see? Now I want you to pay attention because see, check this out, right? Look, August is actually she's doing the same thing that we're doing, except for she's actually getting something, right? So out of all August's checkbox, August is LGBTQ, right? So she's voting for Kamala Harris because she wants LGBTQ protections. Okay, we some Black Americans. We want some Black American protections, and we want our Black American economic justice. So the way that you're voting for your political issue based on the community that you're from, right? We're doing the same thing. We have different interests, though. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't, you know, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because what you're doing makes sense. You know what I mean? As you should, exactly. So I will not criticize you for saying Harris 2020 again or 2024 again. You know what I'm saying?
24 hours. They've got logos, they've got a message, they've got an energized team. They're already taking over the Biden infrastructure. I mean, this is a very real race. Trump world right now is very nervous because this is not who they plan to.
Now, just so you know, Kamala Harris might get roasted. So you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're sensitive or not, but if you're gonna be here, you're gonna have to you gonna have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to put some concrete on that skin. You know what I'm saying?
Against. And there's an energy that I don't think anyone has felt since you didn't feel in 2020 was a referendum pandemic kind of race. You've not felt this in years. And it really opens up the field in a way of like, I don't know that anyone quite knows where this is going. And we're not going to have good polling on this for at least 2 weeks.
And, you know, Van points out some of the skillful parts of this and some of the skilled actors. Donna Brazile, obviously, is a force of nature. Karen Finney, a big one as well. To me, the most impressive part is not how they got here, but what happened, or what didn't happen, I should say more specifically. They were clearly making plans to do this, and you sort of knew it, but you couldn't figure out how or why, because nothing leaked. And if we've learned anything, we all know in politics that when people start planning stuff, they talk, even if it's in a very small group, and it leaks, that they had what you're talking about, that they had logos, that they had plans, that they had specific things that the candidate was going to do and people around her, and no one really knew. That, to me, may be the most skillful part of it.
Well, that's also the fun part when we talk about all this came together in 36 hours.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with you, Master Wagnus. Shout out to Master Wagnus. Master Wagnus says, I don't want a dictatorship. Yeah, I would agree. I think most people in here would be in agreement with you. If you guys are not in favor of a dictatorship, go ahead and put a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's my question. Are you under the impression that if Kamala Harris loses the presidency that we would be in a dictatorship, or we would be at risk of being a dictatorship? Let me know.
I was like, I work at sports. Like, really, free agency has been going for 15 minutes, and everybody has well worked out contracts. The most amazing 15 minutes that anybody's ever had. The stakes were so high.
Now, the thing that's interesting about this is absolutely nothing, which is why we're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to talk about this money that these Black women raised for their Asian candidate. Okay. Hold on real quick. All right, so check this out. After Biden's exit, Zoom, led by Black women, mobilized 44,000 Black women for Harris, right? The call, which organizers say raised more than 1.5 million. Now, here go the thing. That's impressive, right? They have 44,000. This is crazy. 44,000 women on the Zoom call, 44,000 Black women on a Zoom call. And with that Zoom call, they were able to mobilize $1.5 million. Now, I don't know if I would have spent my money like that, but I'm not them and it's not my money. You know what I'm saying? And I seen a lot of dudes, you know what I'm saying, online, and they mad because these women did this. This these women's money, man. They can do whatever they want to. I wouldn't have done this. You know what I'm saying? But that's the beauty of having money. You could spend it or not spend it however you want to, right? So there's a lot of dudes online who are SBEing and shame blaming and explaining these black women shouldn't spend. Listen, man, they're gonna do what they want to do. Like you don't have no way to control them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why even go into that mode. But my question is, like, I would like to see dudes mobilize and get something together like this. You know what I'm saying? Like they was able to do this in 24 hours. Now we don't know how much assistance was done behind the scenes, or you know what I'm saying, you know what all was done there, but you know what I mean? Like this is just wild. Now, if this was me and this was my coalition, right, of dudes, and we had 44,000 dudes on the line and we raised $1.5 million, you're going to give me something back for that $1.5 million. I don't know what the exchange rate is here. I don't know what the exchange rate is here. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Deneen Grant. Deneen Grant said they would have raised 15 million if this was 40,000 white women. Wealth gap on display. They might have raised $1 billion if it was some white women. You know what I'm saying? Some of them would have just had, some of them got their own money. Some of them would have just grabbed the husband's checkbook. The Kardashians, Paris Hilton, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of money. So let's see what they're talking about here. After Biden's exit, Zoom led by black women mobilized $44,000 for Harris. And again, you notice how with this, you don't have the Umar Johnson sitting up there being like, you know, she's married to a white man. And it is none of the sexual policing that you got going on. Kamala Harris can live her happy life, be a happy wife, and still be a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the no talks of sellouts or anything like that. It's just real interesting how that stuff goes. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says one woman was putting her toddler to bed in Baltimore when her phone pinged. Another in Washington saw it while doom scrolling. I don't know what doom scrolling is. A third sat on her deck at her Connecticut home talking about chores with her husband when the WhatsApp message came. They were all hearing about the same thing, a Sunday night Zoom call organized to support the nascent presidential bid of Vice President Harris, who would be the first, here they go now, black woman elected president after Biden announced the end of his candidacy that day. So now they're saying that Kamala Harris will be the first black woman president elected. So you get to be like, you get to be transracial. You know what I'm saying? So you get to be transracial. How, again, I need to know how you're black. How are you black when you got a Indian parent who identifies as white and a mixed dad? Like, somebody make that make sense. And what was interesting about this is that they have changed all of the Google search to make it where all of the articles that come up, if you type in Kamala Harris first Asian woman, none of where she's listed as an Asian woman comes up. Now, how do you go? Now, check this out. Shout out to Master Wackness. Master Wackness says she got to earn her black card. Now, let me ask you this question. Is the black card earning process going to be as strenuous as earning the white card? Because earning a white card is a very strenuous process. People like Kamala Harris tried it 3 times in immigration court. You know what I'm saying? So now right here, Kamala Harris could become the first female, first Asian to be president. Unsunken one says she's Zartan. She got a lot of dreadnoughts behind her too. Yeah, her father is Irish and Jamaican. Look at this. Kamala Harris could be the first female Asian American president. So now we just, again, we're not a genetic trash can. So in one article, you get to just be Asian American. And then when you want to, get some extra votes, you just throw some collard greens on the stove. Throw some collard greens on the stove and you good. Shout out to Adrian. What's good with it, bro? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Deneen. Right. Vivek Ramaswamy will tell you how hard it is. Shout out to Caldona. Yeah, she's a Frankenstein candidate. She's a construction. She's an actual construction. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of multicultural people, right? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is that there's something wrong with attempting to falsely. She's doing the Rachel Dolezal thing. If Rachel Dolezal got in trouble for that, how come Kamala Harris ain't getting in trouble for it? You know what I'm saying? Somebody make it make sense. So now here it says they were all hearing about the same thing. A Sunday night Zoom call organized to support the nascent presidential bid of Vice President Harris, who could be the first black woman, I guess, for the purposes of this article. You know what I'm saying? She talked to some other people. She'd be the first Asian president. After President Biden announced the end of his candidacy earlier that day, more than 44,000 people logged onto a Zoom call to support Harris and raised more than $1.5 million for her campaign in 3 hours, according to Win with Black Women founder Jataka Edie, I think. Is that, hopefully I'm saying that right? Win with Black Women. So if y'all want, you know what I'm saying, shout out to the black women that's in the chat. Y'all trying to get it popping or whatever. They got this Win with Black Women thing. You might be able to get something to buy to that. Now look, check this out. They got the coalition. Anybody that does not think that black and brown women are the backbone of this party don't know us. And then next thing you know, them brown women will be sitting up there saying y'all didn't have nothing to do with it. Shout out to MD Williams. The brown women will be sitting up there saying that y'all ain't had nothing to do with it. The lawyer and the former talk show host told the Washington Post, Harris has already been leading by example. We're going to support her. We're going to raise money for her, and we're going to get out the vote for her. Now, again, it says that she's been leading by example. My question for you guys is, how has she been leading by example? How has Harris been, how has she led by example? What has she led by example? And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. And don't forget to make sure that you check out the channel on Rumble and check out the channel on Twitch. Yeah, shout out to B1 first. She's not black. You know what I'm saying? And she is LGBTQ. She's not black. You know what I'm saying? She is LGBTQ and she's white. You know what I'm saying? she has said that in the chat, but you know what I'm saying? Just so you know. Yeah, hold on. We got to do this for August real quick.
You ain't black.
There you go. All right, it's official now. President said it. Okay. So now here it says the call shows the ways in which black women, a key Democratic voting bloc, plan to galvanize and support Harris. Now, mind you, right, when it comes to taking the credit up here, anybody that thinks black and brown women are not the backbone of this party, they don't know us. So when it comes to taking the credit, they go to brown women. When it comes to doing the work, they go to black women. The call shows the ways in which black women, notice how brown women aren't mentioned. The only brown woman is going to be the beneficiary. This one, this brown woman right here, she going to be the beneficiary. Okay? Again, not the way that I would choose to spend my money. Shout out to MC Fact. What's good with it, bro? Not the way that I would choose to spend my money, but you know what I'm saying? That's what they doing. We are going to support her. We're going to raise money for her. We're going to go out to get the vote for her. So, you know, then what's going to happen is, like Joey Reid was doing, all they about to be trying to do is just shame and, you know what I'm saying, say that black men ain't black if we ain't voting for them. And, you know what I'm saying, come out with articles from the root talking about black men as the white men of black people and all this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DJ Elmo. What's good with it, bro? Yeah. Shout out to Caldona. Right. Yeah, we had said that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that anybody would disagree. I think that August would agree too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the call, which attracted several celebrities and political figures, was off the record, and everyone spoke in their personal capacities. But many attendees described to the Post that it felt like a church, a family reunion, a rally, or the online hangouts from the height of quarantine. All right. Even though they were told not to, people streamed the Zoom on other sites such as Clubhouse, Twitch, and YouTube. So they had, this was leaked all over the place. Let me ask y'all, how many people seen some clips? See, I told you they never send my channel to people who watch content similar to mine. They send it all over the place. So, you know what I'm saying? That's proof right there. That's proof right there. Shout out to Hurricane. Nah, the Hurricane, the algorithm don't work. That's what they listen. I guarantee you, my channel gets sent out to the same amount of people that other people's channels get sent out to, but mine gets sent out to people that wouldn't watch my content. So people click on it, hear it, and then don't stay in it because they don't like what I'm talking about, because they purposely sent it out to people that don't want to hear it. So then my channel end up, you know what I'm saying, not growing. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Edie organized a Zoom call the same way in which she has hosted most Sunday night calls for Win with Black Women since August of 2020. How many people have heard of this organization, Win with Black Women? Now, what I find interesting is that I'm not trying to be funny, man, and like people could probably not like this comment, but this is one of those, this to me seems like one of them type of organizations that if you're with a light-skinned black woman or if you're not with a black woman, this is the type of organization where all the people in the organization will call you a colorist, which is interesting. Now, again, I don't have no proof of this, you know what I'm saying? But it just seems like that, right? But the people in this organization, if they seen me walking down the street with Kamala Harris, they will call me a colorist. But they got 1.5 million for her and calling her a black woman now. I don't understand how that's consistent. I don't understand the logic there. Do that make sense? I appreciate you, Master Wagners. Shout out to NY State of Mind. What's good with you, bro? So now here says the organization says it aims to elect black women nationwide and speaks out against racism and sexism. Well, let me ask you guys this. If black men are the white people of black people, well, that means that we can be racist and sexist against black women, apparently, according to the root. So this to me seems like, you know, there's a little bit of coded language for some hardcore feminism in here. Again, I don't have no proof of it because I haven't researched this organization, so I don't want to slander them. But just from what they're saying and the dog whistles as they're coming out, It kind of seems like it. Yeah, shout out to Tedrick. If y'all agree with Tedrick, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, shout out to MC Fact. Right, look, check this out. Hold on real quick. I'm about to see if I can find that. While I'm doing that, if y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment, hit that bell. Let me see. Hold on, because I actually had looked at that video this morning because I had showed it to my coworker. Hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. Where's that video at? Let me see. Do y'all notice? Oh yeah, here it go right here. Here it go right here. Do y'all notice sometimes when you look into your history, when you look into your YouTube history, sometimes videos that you looked at are not there, like they just disappear. Have y'all ever had that happen? Right here, check this out. Shout out to MC Fact. Hold on real quick. I'm about to get a whole new setup for my studio too. I'm happy. Y'all about to get some real good content.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century.
What do you mean we? You didn't. You were not a part of that. You don't have any grandparent or parent who you can trace back to slavery. What are you in the United States? What are you talking about? Again, more lies. This is what I'm saying. We're not a genetic trash can. We're not a historical basket of goods for everybody either. Like ridiculous.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had
Yeah, but August, even we the people didn't have that. We the people didn't have 200 years of slavery. Some people had 200 years of benefiting from slavery, and other people had 200 years of negative income and terror from slavery. So it's not even a we the people thing. The we the people were the people who owned the slaves.
Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have said discriminate does not exist and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
60% of Black people that are in poverty. What does that have to do with the injustice of slavery? What does that have to do with the injustice of Jim Crow? %60 of Black people doesn't even guarantee that 60% of Black people are even descendants of slaves, like how you're not, like how Obama was not. You know what I'm saying?
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality.
Kamala Harris is Jamaican, right? And Asian, right? Let me ask you, shout out to the Freeman ADOS FBA people in here. What is our ethnicity? Somebody tell me what our ethnicity is. What is our ethnicity? Shout out to KG. What's good with it, bro? Now, Bradley Spalding says Black. I would disagree with that because Black's not an ethnicity. But I would agree with the first comment that you made. Amazing how Black they are when it's time to pay up. Exactly. which is why categorizing quote unquote black as an ethnicity is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I would agree with Deneen. American descendants of slavery, foundational black American, freeman. You know what I'm saying? When she says, now let me ask you guys this. Let's say she was talking about what went on in World War II. What if she spoke of herself as if she was a part of the horrors of World War II? Do you think that that community would take nicely to that? Now, they'd be like, well, you know, your husband, you know what I'm saying, might be a part of that community, but you're not. So why do you think that you just get to just dive into the pool of our community? And then sit there and be disrespectful about us, shaking your narrow head, telling us what you are and what you aren't going to do. You're going to do what we tell you to if you want those votes. You know what I'm saying?
Of who will benefit from certain policies when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing. It will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society.
Who cares? Why do you have to? Who cares if it benefits all of society or not? Why? Nobody. Listen, I don't do heroin and I don't sniff crack, but they got safe injection sites and methadone clinics all over the place. That doesn't benefit me, but those are still there. Why does something that we get have to benefit everybody? I'm going to tell you why. Because mathematically, we cannot ever be given any type of push that's going to actually make us competitive. We have to do those things ourselves because they will not do that. This is one of the reasons why they always start backtracking on this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Right. Shout out to Bradley. And see, that's what I'm saying. Facts. Bradley says, so much is word twisting. Say I'm Black, but I'm a descendant of slaves. Now everyone claims they're Black, but they didn't do anything for us. And then when they do something good that's noteworthy, they'll take away from their Blackness and say they're from either here or from there. I'm not a Black American. You know what I'm saying? My parents came from Sudan or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And again, simply having those conversations or discussing those things in 2024, people will deem you a xenophobe or deem you as hate speaking. But I'm not speaking hate. I'm not sitting up here, you know what I'm saying, calling people no names or anything like that. If people don't do this stuff that I'm saying, then, you know what I'm saying, tell me that I'm lying, that that's not true, that's not a problem. But people can't do that because it is true and it is a problem. And we're looking at it right on the screen. You know what I'm saying?
The reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I got you, DC. Shout out to DC.
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
That's all this is. That's all this is.
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
I try to be. I appreciate you, Bradley. I try to be. I don't be trying to go in like on people, man. Like, if you know what I'm saying, like, just I'm gonna just go in on somebody. I try to lay out an argument with, you know, actual points of contention and not really so much, you know what I'm saying, be attacking people out here all the time, unless it's Fresh and Fit or Andrew Tate or somebody like that. Got to go in on them cats. You know what I'm saying?
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people.
But this is what I'm saying, though, Master of Wagness. I'm not Let me ask this. Do you feel like by what I'm saying, I'm trying to alienate anyone? Do you feel that I'm trying to alienate anybody? Because here goes my question. If by us defining who we are alienates other people, then if we don't have an identity and everybody else has one, what does that do to us? What if everybody... Oh, okay. I got you. I see what you're saying. No, I was just curious. I just wanted to clarify. You know what I'm saying? To me, this particular situation has always been an issue, and it's interesting because I always ask people like, "What's our ethnicity? What's our ethnicity?" You know what I'm saying? And the ethnicity is one of those barriers to people being able to do stuff like this, like what Kamala Harris is doing. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something. We're gonna people.
Yeah, so we're gonna run that back one more again.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century.
Now, mind you, I want you to pay very close attention also, right? Now, the woman who was the interviewer, all she asked her was, do you believe in reparations for Black people? She didn't say nothing else. She might have been talking about reparations for Jamaican people. She might have been talking about CARICOM or something. Kamala Harris immediately made it specific to Black Americans, and then she went further to narrow it down and say Jim Crow. No, we ain't doing nothing for you. I want to make sure that you guys see that Kamala Harris put the target on there and then narrowed it down to a bullseye and then said no. When the woman first asked, it was a broad question. Do you believe in reparations for Black people? Well, what you mean? Which Black people? Who we talking about? We talking about descendants of slaves? We talking about Caribbean? We talking about Haitians? Who we talking about? Oh, no, Kamala Harris knew exactly who wasn't going to get something. Slavery? No. Jim Crow? Hell no. She the one did that. She said it. So I find that interesting that Kamala Harris is the one that reverse narrowed the specifications when she was asked a broad question. So that tells you automatically what time she's on. You know what I'm saying?
Legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this
I don't think she knew the camera was looking at her, because she's looking at her like, listen here. You see her face? You see how she tilted to the side?
And we have to recognize.
See how she tilted to the side? She tilted to the side like that good American, like that good foundational Black American brother Anton Dodson. She like
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You see how she cranked that like Soulja Boy?
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And then she put it back up 90 degrees with the ground.
That everybody.
There it is. The camera on.
Did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act.
Right. The interviewer did the FBA head tilt. Facts. Big fact shit. He was like, girl, the camera on. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Shout out to Edward Berry. Edward Berry says, do you think the mainstream media will play this? I don't think they will. I don't think they will. And the reason why I don't think that they will is because then they would get scrutinized of, and they already under enough scrutiny, they would get scrutinized like, why haven't y'all been playing that? this might be a barrier to black voters. And they do not want to show any kind of vulnerability with black voters that Democrats have already. And since Kamala Harris is supposed to be the Democrat secret weapon, they for sure not going to want to show that. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think so. You know what I'm saying?
Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly.
So if we're not starting at equal footing, then everybody, then the people who are behind, if they get the same thing as everybody else, it's not going to change the level. It's what's in math. This is greatest common factor. What are you talking about? This is factoring. You know what I'm saying?
Benefit these black homeowners because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society.
But policies that benefit all of society don't have. Now, listen, there's no reciprocity there. Policies that benefit all of society don't have to benefit black people. But if a policy benefits black people, it has to benefit all of society. You guys, you all see that? That is important. That is important. Yeah. Shout out to Patrick. Gibberish. Plebiscite babble.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots! I've got morons on my team!
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
That's all this is. That's all this is.
Be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
Now she's sitting up there sounding like Saucy Santana right there. And you know they probably going to have another vote commercial with him in it. Or whatever you call it.
Do something that's only going to benefit black people. Only going to benefit black people. Say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
Oh man, that's crazy work, man. That is crazy, man. Shout out to TCU, man. Make sure y'all show TCU AOC some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for TCU AOC.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Oh man, he said babbling. That's facts, bro. That's what she doing. And so see, this is what I'm saying. So now check this out, right? You taking $1.5 million from black women, and that's not helping everybody in society. That's helping you directly. Now, these black women, they all, if it was me, right? If I was running this organization and this was, you know what I'm saying, 44,000 fellas, and we called in, I would have called in and been like, I'm not about to give you some money that's only going to benefit Kamala Harris. No. I'm not going to give you money that's only going to benefit you. No. But everybody ain't me. You know what I'm saying? At the height of the 2020 election, she said the most attendees she had on the Zoom call was 1,500 people. Edie was expecting a few hundred last night and got thousands. Man, that had to be chaotic and insane. But she realized something was different around 2:00 p.m. when she got a message that 50 people were in the Zoom waiting room. The call was set to start at 8:30 p.m. By 7 o'clock p.m., the Zoom was at capacity with 1,000 people. Members contacted Zoom, which moved the group to a webinar, giving them unlimited capacity to expand their attendees. All right. So again, you know, basically all these women got together and, you know what I'm saying, the rest is history. Now there's $1.5 million. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of dudes on YouTube complaining about it. I mean, I don't understand why somebody would complain about it. It's just dumb. But at the same time, I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just leave it at that. I don't understand a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hope those women get what they pay for. I'm gonna just put it like that. I hope they get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna matter anyway, because even if they don't get anything out of it, you will never get an admission. So, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna take a look at this. How Kamala Harris I should say Kamala before they try to get me for hate speech. How Kamala Harris fares against Trump in the 2024 polls. Again, I don't see her having a significant advantage. You know what I'm saying? That over Biden, what Biden had. And on top of it, I actually think that she has more odds against her than Biden had. Again, I showed you guys my theory behind that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that as of right now, my theory holds. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DeAndre. Make sure y'all show DeAndre some love. Throw some like enforcers in the chat for DeAndre enforcing them likes. Definitely appreciate it, bro.
We've got NBC's national political correspondent Steve Kornacki with us now and the big board. So let's look deeper into those polls, how Kamala Harris fares in a matchup against Trump.
Yeah, and the headline, Savannah, is right now at least not that much different. Take a look. This is an average of the 10 national polls that have come out since that debate last month. Yeah, Trump at 47, Harris at 46. If you had the same average, Biden versus Trump, it was a 2-point Trump lead. So very, very slight improvement to start out. But obviously that's something that's within the margin of error there.
Now, mind you, again, these numbers, we looked at 3 different polls earlier. And these numbers are completely different than the numbers that we saw on the poll that we looked at earlier. Completely different. Shout out to CCA. CCA says, nobody wants Harris. They are lying. If you guys agree with CCA, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with CCA, then give me a thumbs down. I don't understand how, if you replace Biden with Harris, I don't understand how Harris is closer in percentage to Trump when her approval rating was below Biden, unless she has other voters who with Biden in the running were undecided and didn't vote, and with her in the running have decided to vote. That's the only thing that I could think of. You know what I'm saying?
Democrats are really kind of starting in the same place.
And so what about the key groups? Does she perform better with particular groups? And does that open up a path or other states potentially?
And I thought this was interesting. In our own most recent NBC poll, here are some groups when you match Harris against Trump where she actually fares better than Biden did. Headline there is Black voters, 10-point difference there. Harris improvement. The left wing of the Democratic base, Sanders, Warren voters, and folks 35 to 49 years old. The flip side, though, is Trump improves in some areas with Harris in the race, at least according to our poll. Here you see Republican voters who aren't satisfied Trump's their nominee. Think Haley voters here, white males with college degrees. These two groups, I think you tend to find in the suburbs. Suburbs have been a big place for Democrats to be growing lately. So you take a look
you tend to find those groups in the suburbs. That's interesting. You tend to find those groups in the suburbs. Ain't no black people in the suburbs, huh? Okay.
At our road to 270, the 6 core battleground states are there in gray. Those numbers I just showed you, well, if you're a Democrat and you see the number among black voters, you think, maybe Georgia, maybe Harris could help you there. Black pocket, Trump's been well there in the polls. The flip side is if Trump's posting improvements in the suburbs with Harris in the race, the suburbs around Atlanta, that could wipe it all out.
Arizona, young voters, suburbs around Phoenix potentially, because prior to this, the path for Biden was those Rust Belt states. So potentially it opens up more battlegrounds.
And I think that's the thing. The reason why Biden had that path you're talking about in Wisconsin.
I don't think that it's a good thing to open up more battlegrounds. If more states become battleground states, those are more unknowns, and those are more opportunities for Kamala Harris to lose. If Biden already had them states on lock, and with Kamala in the race, different states become battlegrounds, not a good situation. Yeah, I agree. And we talked about that earlier in the stream. I agree with that. Absolutely. And then there's a lot there. Yeah. But I agree 110%. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I said, you know, I don't understand how you have a Indian mother who put white on her birth certificate because Indian people fought to be white, and a father who's Jamaican and Irish, and I don't know how that makes a quote unquote black person. I don't know how that does that. I don't know how that works. Actually, I do know how that works. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So, but then the media will never say that until it's time to laud her for multiculturalism, and you check all these boxes, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, so now she ain't black. Or if she happened to do something that was just if she decided to discover a cure for AIDS, they would drop the black part automatically, and all of a sudden the reason why she's so smart in biology was because of her Asian roots. Like we already know all the tricks. You know what I'm saying?
Michigan, Pennsylvania is the growth for Trump and the weakness for Biden has been non-white voters. So Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, with much more diverse populations than those West.
We meet here
Yeah,
many
you guys
times.
probably be meeting many times in the future there because y'all both work there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it is what it is, right? So now again, we just saw that poll right there, right? And then we look at this one, and it's completely different. This one is from the 18th. Now look at this. We're gonna skip down here real quick. This was when Biden was still in the race. Now Biden location is undisclosed. They claim ain't nobody seen him. He missing like Carmen Sandiego. Look at this. I don't think that Biden has been ahead in the race yet. Look at now. Again, we'll fight for people like you. CBS News poll, YouGov. Kamala Harris is way down to 26%. Don't nobody think that any of these people will fight. Now look at this. This is July 16th through 18th. CBS poll, YouGov. Choice for president, likely voters. Trump is winning with 51%. Real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. All right. So, you know, these are just survey questions here. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Hold on. I think the rest, and I think we've looked at enough polls. Let me see. Look, we've looked at enough polls and not enough women sliding down them. So I think we good. Let me just look at one more thing here. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna just show this headline real quick. This was an AJC poll that I think this came out yesterday. Exclusive new AJC poll finds that Trump leads Harris in Georgia. Remember, they were just talking about Georgia. So, you know, we could read that, but again, like I said, we've already seen the graphics. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to go through all that. It's just more backing up. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what else I got. So yeah, here go another article about Kamala Harris getting the delegates. And again, I don't understand how I don't understand how they organized that and got the delegates all quick like that. Like, I don't understand that. Harris secures enough delegates to become the Democratic presumptive presidential nominee. She went from not even being endorsed, right, to all of a sudden having all the delegates. They wasn't even endorsing her all like that. And now she got all the delegates? How? When? You know what I'm saying? Somebody make it make sense. I'm going to show y'all this headline again. This headline real quick. Now, the Republicans see Kamala Harris as beatable. And Again, I agree that she is beatable. Honestly, I think that she's more beatable than Joe Biden. I already, you know what I'm saying, talked about that. And the reason why I think that she's more beatable than Joe Biden is because there are less statistical odds in her favor. You know what I'm saying? But the Democrats also have interesting strategies to victory when it comes to presidential elections. So there's that. The Democrats got that on their side, right? Do Republicans see Kamala Harris as easy to beat? You know what I'm saying? So let me see what else we got. Honestly, let me see. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Now, who do y'all think Kamala Harris will pick as the VP? Who do y'all think they gonna pick as the VP? Because you know it ain't gonna be her that's actually gonna pick the person that's the VP. So who do y'all think she gonna pick? Me personally, I don't know. It's a lot of people that saying they think that Gavin Newsom is gonna be the top VP pick, and then they're gonna try to like position it to where Gavin Newsom is the head person, the front runner, and Kamala Harris ends up taking the back seat. You know what I'm saying? That's people have said that as a theory. You know what I'm saying? Kellyanne Conway sitting up there saying that America needs to learn this about Kamala Harris, and your boy Sean Hannity sitting there looking crazy. Shout out to Kevin Smith. What's good with it? What y'all think we need to know about Kamala Harris? I think we know everything about Kamala Harris, but they claim they got some info, so let's see what they got.
Kellyanne Conway, co-host of the hit show The Five, Harold Ford Jr. Good to see you both. Harold, I'm gonna start with you. There's no.
Yeah, I don't think Pete Buttigieg stands a chance. How many people think that Pete Buttigieg stands a chance? If you guys think that Pete Buttigieg stands a chance as the vice president with Kamala Harris, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't think so, give me a thumbs up. I think it's over for Pete Buttigieg. I don't think he gonna get it.
No way, and I've known you a long time. There's no way you or any Democrat will ever convince me or Kellyanne or most of the American people that Democrats were not fully, completely aware of Joe's cognitive decline.
I think I agree. I think I think that I agree. What do you guys? How many people think that the Democrats were aware? How many people think that the Democrats was aware of Biden's condition? If y'all think that they were aware, give me a thumbs up. If y'all think that they weren't aware, then give me a thumbs down. Let me know what you think they was doing. Shout out to B1 first. Yeah, the booty jig. We're not doing the booty jig. Oh man, ain't nobody doing the booty jig. No.
And to use the excuse of a poor debate as a means of pushing him out is beyond disingenuous. You knew about it. Everyone with eyes to see knew about it. Why did the media in this country lie repeatedly to the American people?
Well, first off, happy Sunday and good to be with you. I'd say a few things. I think over the last several months, we probably have seen the president, and others may have seen some.
Harold, wait 1 second. Months or years? I pointed out his cognitive decline before the 2020 election.
Well, I disagree with you on that. I looked at him. I watched him during the State of the Union. I thought he gave one heck of a speech. He stayed on that House floor shaking hands and talking.
Jacked up Joe.
And then
now, wait a minute. Hold on real quick. This Harold Ford Jr. Harold Ford Jr. is the black guy, isn't he? This guy is black that we're looking at here. Am I mistaken? Is Harold Ford Jr. the black dude that's on the five? Let me see something real quick. Hold on. Yeah, Harold Ford Jr. is the black dude. Let me see. Hold on. Is Harold Ford? Yeah. Yeah, Harold Ford Jr., the black dude. He's mixed, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? I thought so. He's always quick to point that out. I'm black. I agree with these guys, and I'm black. Yeah. Oh, we better put the receipts up before we go. about to put the receipts up here. Now, y'all seen that dude named Walter White that worked for the NAACP back in the day. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't them Walter White looking people. He wanted them Walter White people. Harold Ford Jr., mixed race with black and white ancestors. Harold Ford Jr. is of mixed race with black and white ancestors. I mean, what about the parents, though? I think it's safe to say that many human beings on the planet have black and white ancestors. What about his parents? Due to his mixed ancestry, he is called a biracial politician. Harold Ford Jr. is a prominent American politician and former congressman. I didn't know that, from Tennessee. He is the son of a white father and a black mother. There you go right there. Wealthypeeps.com. White father, black mother. All right. That's why he's sitting there. That's why he's sitting there looking nervous. He's sitting there looking nervous because he knows Sean Clanity. He knows Sean Clanity about to go full KKK on him. And he like, oh, Lord. He's stressed out. He got the bubble guts. Kellyanne just sitting there, you know what I'm saying, smiling like a like a post-wall bimbo. It's about to be lit.
Why did the media in this lie repeatedly to the American people?
Well, first off, happy Sunday and good to be with you. I'd say a few things. I think over the last several months, we probably have seen the president, and others may have seen some decline.
Harold, wait 1 second. Months or years? I pointed out his cognitive decline before the 2020 election.
Man, he looked like his. Have you ever been sitting in the office? Have you ever been sitting in the office and you knew you was either about to get rolled up or get fired? That's how Harold Ford Jr. sitting there looking. He's sitting there looking like he know he's about to get canned, or he about to get rolled up and get fired, or he's about to get a demotion. He is not looking happy at all. At all. He looked like the pressure is on. The pressure is on, bruh. The pressure is on. And Kellyanne Conway just sitting there waiting to be a Karen. She's just sitting there waiting for that Karen to jump out.
Well, I disagree with you on that. I looked at him. I watched him during the State of the Union. I thought he gave one heck of a speech. He stayed on that House floor shaking hands and talking about former colleagues. And then he came out during the debate, but for the 3.5 weeks, Brett Baer was right. The 3.5 week run we have had is nothing short of astonishing. Brett writes a lot of books on 3 days. This will be interesting if he makes a 3 week one. You consider that bad performance. You consider that the assassination attempt of President Trump, the unbelievable convention that the Republicans had, and then just in the last several hours, the exit of President Biden. Whatever we want to call it, whatever the reason.
What is Harold Ford talking about right here? Is he addressing anything that was just said? What is he talking about? Yeah, I agree with you, Bradley. If you guys agree with Bradley, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Bradley says Hannity was just a far-right rhetoric spewer they put on TV after calling in with his views. He was selected to be just what he is. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't disagree with that one bit. You know what I'm saying? Another DEI. He didn't earn it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Tucker Carlson. He didn't own it. He's just nepotism baby. A nepotism baby that sits up there and criticizes first generation people who have never had money, who got money now, of having nepotism babies. You know what I'm saying? These people are walking contradiction and hypocrisy.
Reasons are, John, I'm not saying that you're wrong in your assessment. You may very well be right. But one thing is for certain this evening, this race for the president has been completely upended. I don't know if it will be Kamala Harris. She clearly is the front runner. She has, I think, for her, the next 36 to 72 hours.
Shout out to DC. Who's Stephen? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Stephen A. Smith and Hannity. I forgot they was friends. Stephen A. If Stephen A. ever finds out about this, he gonna make sure that he don't take his Ativan before he start going in on me, and his forehead gonna be extra shiny that day.
The most critical for her, if she's able to keep others out of the race, she'll have a public statement where she will actually have to present. We all know that some of her presentations in public have not been the best. I think the country will be looking at her in ways, more eyeballs will be on her than ever before. So this next 1 or 2 presentations to the public will be absolutely critical. And to your point, Sean, when President Biden speaks in the next day or two and answers questions about the issues that you have aptly raised, we'll get a better sense of what it is or why it was that he decided at this moment. I think it's as simple as that he can't win. The downward ballot pressure was so enormous and growing. I think there were a lot of Democrats who were going to come out in the next day or so that it might have been even more embarrassing for the president. So I think they got out got out in front of it. But one thing is clear: it seems like the Trump campaign has been prepared for this. There might not be Joe Biden.
Now this is interesting, right? I'm glad that he mentioned it, quote unquote, seems like the Trump campaign is prepared for this. Have you all noticed that there's a lot of media come out lately? A lot of media come out lately that has been saying the Trump campaign is scrambling. The Trump campaign isn't prepared. The Trump campaign is just completely thrown off. The Trump campaign is in fear mode because Kamala Harris. Have you guys seen a lot of that? Because I've seen a lot of that, and I'm trying to figure out. I don't think that that's valid. Yeah, I think he did. Shout out to Tetra. I'm gonna ask y'all: did he just throw Kamala under the bus? If you guys feel like he just threw Kamala under the bus, give me a thumbs up. If you guys feel like he didn't, then give me a thumbs down. Yeah, and I gotta agree with CC. Absolutely, the media is always playing in our face. That's why y'all come check us. You know what I'm saying? Check it out over here. You know what I'm saying? Come check it out over here. This don't make any sense.
And we're going to have one heck of a fight between now and November. I don't mean fight in a violent way, but a contest of ideas.
If he's not strong enough to be the candidate, the 25th Amendment ought to be invoked immediately. Kellyanne, your thoughts, and your thoughts about the fact that everybody knew about his cognitive decline. It is not a surprise. Everybody knew. They were willing to cover it up until it began until he began to bleed in his polling. Then it became about power.
Actually, Sean and Harold, it actually happened when they started to worry about their seats. You know, most of them were saying, please step aside, pass the baton, Mr. President Biden, because you're going to help us lose the House and the Senate as well as the White House. So it was very selfish. They're concerned about Joe Biden was always electoral, not emotional. It was always political, not medical or even moral. And Kamala Harris led the choir, and that's just not true. Why did Kamala Harris or anybody else who's thinking of running for president or vice president, Sean, lack the courage, integrity, and love of country to just say, listen, I love this man. I want him to step aside and spend the rest of his years. Let's hope they're 2030.
Now, again, if you ask me, now, again, you know, this should go without saying. I ideologically, I'm not aligned with these people. However, I do believe that these critiques are valid. These critiques of the media and these critiques of the people who are around Joe Biden are absolutely valid. It was so bad that there was one point where any kinds of critiques of Biden's cognition or the performance of the Democratic Party was deemed and attacked as mis or disinformation. And what's interesting about it is literally now that all of the things that we have assumed, all of the things that we've shown evidence and said, it seems like this is highly likely, these things have all happened. And none of the people who said that we were liars have been called out or been held responsible or accountable for themselves being liars, which is not to, you know what I'm saying, be expected, but it would just be nice if there was some integrity there, which this, if you ask me, validates the fact that there is not. It validates the fact that there is none. You know what I'm saying?
More years, Joe Biden, in Delaware with his family. If you don't like the style of Kamala Harris, if Cat Kamala bothers you, if you see her with the word salads, if you don't like her style, wait till America learns her substance. This is somebody who ran for president in 2020. She had such a big rollout. She was 15% of the polls. She had huge endorsements, raised a ton of money, and fell out of that top tier fairly quickly because
now, shout out to everybody that's watching. If you guys are not subscribed to my other channel, Blacklight Revelations, take a moment and subscribe to Blacklight Revelations. If one of the mods could put the link to Blacklight Revelations in the chat, that would be great. And the reason why is because as I start to do content over there and the political content filters in over there, like I said yesterday, I'm going to link in the cards of the videos to the old content about Kamala Harris and the old content about Trump and Biden. And you guys can judge for yourself the accuracy of it. Okay, I don't have too many videos on this channel about Kamala Harris, but on my other channels, I absolutely do. And once the political content filters over there, those will for sure be getting linked into the video. So you guys will be able to see those.
people got to know her and hear her. She didn't get a single delegate.
Appreciate it, her. Okay.
Extra staff turnover. as vice president, I check it on the daily. Her public schedule, gentlemen, rarely has anything on it or one or two things on it. She does not speak well. She does not work hard.
All right, so
she doesn't
Kellyanne,
inspire
let me
anyone.
ask you.
And she should not be the standard bearer for the party. Yes, sir.
Will in fact, the voices of Barack Obama and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries, they had an opportunity, and they have an opportunity right now to come out in favor of Kamala Harris. Their silence to me is revealing and deafening. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's something else that I agree with, and we talked about that yesterday. It's interesting how a lot of these influential Democrats still have not come out and fully endorsed Kamala. And like we said, I think one of the main reasons is because they don't want to be held responsible, or they don't want to be associated for the epic, tragic monstrosity of a campaign that we are witnessing, this train wreck as it's occurring in real time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they want an open primary. I think they want more of an open conversation. They know that Kamala Harris should be prepared to be president, but she's not, because she's turned the vice presidency into a no-show job. One other thing, I think Joe and Jill Biden did something clever. He left. Their poll numbers are going to go up either immediately or ultimately for doing that, because their poll numbers were both suffering. And Kamala will probably go down at some point. She'll have some kind of bump. Let's make history. Meanwhile, people want to make money, not history. Try to stuff. But here's what I think is clever and Machiavellian on their part. Endorse Kamala and have her lose to Joe Biden, lose to Donald Trump, so that she's never president. Kamala Harris has never shown us any evidence that she can whip together a campaign at the presidential level in 109 days, even if she takes Joe Biden's entire staff, because it's just too much to answer for. And let me just say, Barack Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they all know something else. They think that they're going to lose the House and Senate. I think Chuck Schumer is going to tell his Hollywood friends, go give $500 million so Donald Trump will have checks and balances. You can't have one company, one party rule in Washington. Whoever operates Kamala Harris's teleprompter, whoever writes her speeches is a MAGA mole and a Trump supporter. And I think those that try to go that, they get to the job. So let all hang out. Let other Democrats run. Question remains, gentlemen, which other Democrats want to be the sacrificial lamb this year? If you think that you're walking into a buzzsaw, Trump is the prohibitive favorite right now.
Now, this is interesting. This is actually really interesting. She said which other Democrats want to be the sacrificial lamb. And I've heard people that actually have theories that Kamala Harris and people supporting Kamala Harris are getting set up for a major failure. And I think that is interesting that she actually alluded to that. How many of you guys think that Kamala Harris is getting set up for a major failure? If you guys think that that's what's going on right now, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't and you think something else is going on, give me a thumbs down.
Giants of the Democratic Party know that. They know that this woman is just not up to the job. So let it all hang out. Let other Democrats run. Question remains, gentlemen, which other Democrats want to be the sacrificial lamb this year? If you think that you're walking into a buzzsaw, Trump is...
There you go. Which other Democrats want to be the sacrificial lamb? I'm telling you, mark them words, because it's definitely something on... Is it like she's onto something with that. But we'll see. We'll see.
Rule in Washington. Whoever operates Kamala Harris' teleprompter, whoever writes her speeches, is a MAGA mole and a Trump supporter. And I think those giants of the Democratic Party know that. They know that this woman is just not up to the job. So let it all hang out. Let other Democrats run. Question remains, gentlemen, which other Democrats want to be the sacrificial lamb this year? If you think that you're walking into a buzzsaw, Trump is the prohibitive favorite right now in the markets after that convention, after he survived everything from impeachment to indictment to insult to investigation, an assassin's bullet, remove him from the ballot, remove him from his company, remove him from social media apps. They tried everything they...
All right, we got it. All right, so next, what we about to do is we about to take a look at this and see these candidates that they're floating around for the VP. Oh, it looks like they got some... Hold on real quick. There was a video that just got posted. Let's take a quick look at this. Oh, shit. Hold on. Some top names that... Wait a minute. Hold on. What just happened? Hold on. Hold on real quick, y'all. My bad. There we go. All right. Yeah, we good now. All right, now these are supposedly top names of candidates for the VP position with Kamala Harris. Now, I want to know, who are you all putting your money on that Kamala Harris will be the VP pick for Kamala Harris? I think that most people believe that it's going to be Gavin Newsom. August says she'll pick Bashir. I'm not sure who Beshear is. Who is Beshear? And I got to agree with Deneen. They want the black lady to take the L. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I heard Liz Cheney being floated around, but I don't. I think a lot of people kind of weird on that, and I think a lot of people kind of cool on that. Shout out to Caldona. Caldona said Andy Beshear also. I'm not too sure who that guy is, but a lot of you guys are saying Beshear. Oh, he's the governor of Kentucky. Okay. Oh, they fired that Secret Service lady. They was grilling her yesterday, man. I wanted to stream that, but I didn't get a chance to. They was going in on her. How many people saw that Secret Service hearing yesterday? CZ said, who dumb enough to get on the ballot with janitor? That's hilarious. What do y'all think about J.B. Pritzker? Y'all think anybody asked him to get on the ballot with his weird self? Because he's weird. That dude is a certified weirdo, in case anybody was not aware.
Now, ultimately, it is up to party delegates to decide who the next Democratic nominee will be at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago that happens next month. But as Vice President Kamala Harris prepares to run for that top spot on the ticket, there are questions now about who could possibly be her running mate. And so far, she's not said anything publicly, but who she is about who.
All right, so these are the people that look. They got J.B. Pritzker on there. I told you he'll be on there. These are the weirdos that they got on there. Senator Mark Kelly, Governor Gavin Newsom. There goes Andy Beshear. That's who everybody's talking about. They got Pete Buttigieg on there, who's not getting chosen for anything except for to go sit down somewhere. Governor Roy Cooper, Governor Wes Moore, Governor J.B. Pritzker, Governor Josh Shapiro, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, which I think she already kind of declined, and Governor Tim Walz. So out of all these people, you guys think that it's going to be Andy Beshear. What makes you guys think that it's going to be Andy Beshear? Shout out to DC Precise. DC Precise said he voted for Tiffany Henier, and you better, because you black. You black. You know what I'm saying? Shame on you for not voting for her. You black. You know what I'm saying?
She's considering, though there are reports that she made calls to at least 2 governors over the weekend. Several names have been floated around as potential vice presidential candidates, and as our Kate Chappell reports, 2 of them are from our area.
They got J.B. Pritzker, Life with Louis looking self, and Pete Buttigieg. No one is going to vote for Pete Buttigieg. It's over for him. Who's going to vote for Pete Buttigieg to do anything? Seriously. He just needs to stop and start a podcast or something.
Several recognizable names from the Midwest have surfaced as potential vice presidential running mates alongside Kamala Harris, should she become the Democratic nominee, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Transportation Secretary and former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Illinois is a pure Democratic state. So you've got Illinois in the win column.
Pritzker and Buttigieg each endorsed Harris on Monday, but neither has made a public media appearance since Biden left the campaign, nor did they respond to our request for comment on if they'd accept a VP nomination.
I think if somebody calls you on that, what you do is at least listen.
Also on a list of potential nominees, governors from several key swing states, a factor often considered by candidates according to legal experts.
Geography, the electoral map, where they could use some help in terms of the electoral college, but also demographics.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly have all endorsed Harris and are all considered potential VP picks, bringing political crossover appeal to the ticket.
I think it's really important that we do keep the focus on her this week. The vice presidential conversation needs to occur later.
California Governor Gavin Newsom, who debated Ron DeSantis on behalf of the Biden-Harris campaign in...
Hey, real quick, who came up with that rumor? Who came up with that rumor that Joe Biden was on that Joe Biden was on hospice? Who came up with that rumor? I seen Tedra had said I saw Tedra had said it in the chat, but I didn't know that it was an actual rumor that he was on hospice. Did y'all know that that was an actual rumor? If y'all knew that that was an actual rumor that Joe Biden was on hospice, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't know, give me a thumbs down. They got a whole fact check thing about it and everything. It just came out 4 hours ago.
November has also been named as a potential running mate. Legal experts, however, say the 12th Amendment, which mandates the president and vice president hail from different states, would pose a problem for a Harris-Newsom ticket.
All the California electors wouldn't be able to vote for both of them in the electoral college.
Biden sitting in the bed like,
spirits of evil, transform this decade from Tomorrow, the ever-living.
Man, Biden better call the ancient spirits of evil. Look, he better call the ancient spirits of evil. Look at this real quick. You can't make this up, man. You can't make this up. Shout out to Tetra. Tetra said she didn't know it was a rumor. Look, Joe Biden. Joe Biden hospice care claims debunked. They talking directly to you, Cedra. They seen the chat and they put this out. Joe Biden hospice care claims debunked. What we need to know. What do we need to know? How often is he taking the morphine? You know what I'm saying? How often he getting that under the tongue morphine? Hold on real quick. Right-wing commentator, it came from Charlie Kirk, posted a rumor that President Joe Biden had a medical emergency in Las Vegas last week and may be in hospice care. Claims which have been debunked. The post contradicted the official account of the president's C-19 diagnosis and has sparked widespread speculation. But what are the facts? Kirk, who has a history of promoting questionable theories, shared the rumor Monday on X, formerly Twitter. He wrote, "Got a weird lead on a story that people should look into. I got a call from a source close to Las Vegas Metro. The official story was that Joe Biden's trip was cut short last week due to C-19. However, according to this source, U.S. Secret Service informed LV Metro that there was an emergency situation involving Joe Biden and to close necessary streets so that POTUS could be transported immediately to University Hospital." Now, let me ask y'all this. What happens if something what happens if something comes out of this? What happens if something comes out of this, man? You know what I'm saying? Then mysteriously, there was a stand down order and the USS informed local Vegas PD that they were going to medevac POTUS to Johns Hopkins. Apparently, the rumor mill in the police department was that Joe Biden was dying or possibly already dead. The post had been viewed by 21 million. The post had been viewed 21 million times by Tuesday. Kirk has previously promoted questionable theories related to right-wing talking points, including expressing skepticism about Black pilots' ability to fly planes due to diversity hiring practices, and in a now deleted 2018 post on X, dramatically overstated the number of human trafficking arrests made under the Trump administration versus the Obama administration, citing bogus Department of Justice data originating from QAnon message board 8chan. All right. So yeah, apparently there was this was a rumor, but apparently this rumor was put out by Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the rumor being put out by Charlie Kirk, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. We'll see. Because, you know, we just don't know what's going on anymore these days. So I'm gonna reserve my comment and I'll wait to see what ends up coming out. And you know, we'll be there for it. We will be there for it. You know what I'm saying? So If you guys haven't hit that like button yet, please take a moment, hit that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Shout out to everybody who came through to the stream. I definitely appreciate you guys. We had 8 stream sponsors. I want to shout out to stream sponsors. Make sure y'all show them some love because they are the ones who make this possible. Shout out to my man, DC Precise. I appreciate it. Shout out to AB Promotions. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Tedra. I appreciate it. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Patrick Tyler. Appreciate it. Shout out to Alvin. Welcome to the membership. Shout out to my man TCU AOC. Definitely appreciate it. So you guys know if they yellow dollar sign this, it'll be on members temporarily. If they green dollar sign it, if it stays yellow, you can watch it on Rumble, or you can become a member for only 99 cents and check out the replay. All right. I will be back either tomorrow or later on today with another stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Please make sure you guys been doing great leaving comments after the stream. Please make sure you guys leave some comments in the comment section after the stream. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Queen, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Me from the street, active for a feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat, cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in the light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this light. Hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Hold up.